Time for Type 40 Live, the live stream Doctor Who magazine show, a Rumble, X, YouTube, Facebook. Find us there. And here we're talking all things Doctor Who, from right the way back then to the right here and the right now, and in front of a live chat full of fellow friends, fans and companions just like you. And just how many Doctor Who faces and factoids can a popular streaming platform whack into their latest hit movie? Picking up on all the clues later on in the show. Good old Stephen Moffat breaking his silence, sort of, to chip in on the big pause. All of that and loads more coming up on the 250th edition of Type 40 Live. And the ideal time and space and place to get cozy, I think, with me, Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. If that's not an offer you can't refuse, I don't know. Hello, everybody. We'll find out who you are in a moment and where you're watching and listening from. So, hold back just for a few seconds and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Welcome aboard. Lots to talk about and a nice complement of companions to bring in to keep it nice and cozy as the temperature starts to drop. And it's starting to bucket down outside. So I know where I'm going to want to be, next to the fireplace. I would imagine there'd be a fireplace in the bit that you can't see here. There's certainly enough ruggage underfoot and a comfy chair with a few books and things to hand. The only thing that would put me off is the ticking clock in the 8th Doctor's TARDIS, or the 8th Doctor's TARDIS. That would get on my pecs after a while. I like a silent clock myself, but let us know. Obviously, results may vary. Let us know your preference there in the live chat, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X, covering all the important topics, as always, here at Type 40 Live. And with them, too, going to bring them on right away. Who else could I start with but Charlotte Shields?
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
I'm like you. It does my head in when you're in somewhere new. Like you're just staying at a hotel, or like
Right.
when I've been on trips with work,
Yes.
and like you can't shut it off, and you have to try to go to sleep with a really loud clock. It does my head in as well.
It's not just
Yes,
me.
250 we got here, folks.
Happy 250th, Charlotte.
I know, it sort of feels like in proper Doctor Who fashion, it's been quick, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
Like when you said that, like in our chat beforehand, when you were like, 250 is coming up, I was like, really? We've got to that number?
I thought we can't make too much of a song and dance about it because we only had the 200th earlier this year, like the start of the year.
Yeah, but we're Doctor Who fans. We celebrate everything. You've said that plenty of time, and it's true.
It's a bit indulgent, but I thought, well, why not at least raise the colours behind and turn up the sort of the thermostat a little, whack an extra layer on, because the weather certainly started to turn, I feel, hasn't it?
It's been April showers in not April, which has been fun.
And although he has joined us relatively recently at Type 40 Live, he's been a friend of ours for practically since the start, I think. So I feel that I can say happy 250th to Gary Akers too.
Thank you. Hi, Dan. Hi, Charlotte. This is such an honor to be here on the. I just learned this term today.
You don't know what jokes I've got planned later.
The bisesquicentennial. I just learned that term today. That's what this is, the bisesquicentennial. And Dan, I just was mentally calculating, if we started doing a stream a day, we could hit 500 by next summer.
You first.
Give him ideas, Gary. Do not give him ideas.
People do ask me, why don't you do more? Why don't you do it every day? What do you think?
Because he values his sanity.
Less is more, everyone.
Yes.
Less is more. But we like to balance the amounts just right here at Type 40 Live. And I definitely think there's a space for a bit on the side in the nicest possible way.
She's going to kill you for that.
The what?
Welcome back, Sarah.
Well,
Wow.
I don't know what to say to that. I'm just glad my husband's not here to listen.
He's calling her
it's
attorney.
good to
Feet
see.
on the side, Gary. Google
I know.
feet on the side.
Get your solicitor on the phone.
Does it mean the same thing in the States as it means or can mean in Britain? Because it obviously has mixed
Yes, it does.
meanings. Of course, Sarah's
That's
nobody's
nice
bit
to
on the side. She's a main course for one very lucky man in particular.
Thank you.
Have you been this week?
Oh
Sarah?
my God, that's what it is.
The secret's out.
So-
Oh no! Told you get an exclusive. How are you, Sarah? Good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I do apologise about Monday. I wasn't very well, chat, so I had to kind of duck out during the break. But yeah, no, I'm feeling a lot more myself today, hopefully. I've just been thinking, do you know what the 250th Doctor Who story is off the top of your head?
Oh
Didn't.
no.
If I said New Who,
Yeah.
I mean proper New Who, not Who New.
Stones
Yeah.
of Blood. Stones of Blood was the 100th, so that means it's not classic.
No.
But I do know that
Is it
Planet
in-
of the Dead was the 200th Doctor Who story.
I was going to say Matt then. That's what I was thinking. Was it a Matt episode?
Later than that.
If you're
Oh, Capaldi.
Mhm.
I'm going to say Time Heist.
I'm going through his second season now. In my
You're
head,
close,
the
you're
episodes.
close, Dan. You're close. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a clue. Something happens in the episode which happened in Legopolis.
Oh, it's thingy. It's Capaldi, the little flatline.
Yes, it's
Yes,
flatline.
yeah, with the hair.
oh,
So it ties in rather nicely.
good
with Speak.
clue. Great clue.
I like it. Wow, yeah, and it's an episode I do actually like. We could have reviewed that after all. Never
We
mind,
could have
maybe
used
next
that one, but we didn't know we were going to be, celebrating it. So.
No, we didn't. These things sort of creep up on one
Mhm.
somewhat, don't they? As does the weather. I mean, without having to keep banging on about the weather, which is sort of a subject we return to all the time, I do feel justified now in layering up. Although I think I'm the only one. Everybody else is in t-shirt sleeves still.
I know.
Oh, dear,
I'm
dear.
amazed I
You're
haven't
like
got
a
a
rock
cardigan
pussy.
on.
Because
Wow.
I'm not 100%. I'm absolutely boiling.
And I just got to say quickly, speaking of Legopolis, I was so proud of our Christopher Bidmead tribute on Monday that anybody who hasn't watched it, please go watch it. It was excellent, if I do say so myself.
You enjoyed it.
I absolutely
I think.
concur. I went and watched it back, and yeah, I thought everybody made some fantastic comments and observations, things I'd not thought about before, especially your comment, Gary, about the Fifth Doctor and the regeneration trauma and how that all started. And I was just like, well, yeah, I just don't know what I could have added to that anyway if I had been there. I just thought it was fantastic. So yes, please do check it out. Not now. I mean,
Not now, no.
but watch us
Stick around.
first.
Later.
Stick around.
Later.
Now. There's a lot more Doctor Who for us to talk about because that's pretty much what we do here. The past, the present, and the future of all things Doctor Who. Well, I say the future. None of us have a crystal ball of any kind, do we? But we are on the precipice, I think, of something, of a future of sorts. Whether Doctor Who will be on the TV screen or not, we'll certainly be here on your view screen with more news, views, debate, nostalgia, and more stupid jokes. Really, so if you like that combination, you've definitely come to the right place. No, it was a great show, the Bidmead show. It's always to put together a show like that and to have the conversations. I always feel that as long as you sort of approach it with a good heart and you're not maudling about somebody who's sort of brought us all that entertainment, then it's appropriate. Even though none of us knew the guy, so we can't make out that we were best buddies or anything. We didn't know this man, but we did enjoy his work. We respected him as a human being and as a creative. And if we can just sort of unite people a little in some way, remind them of why they may have enjoyed his work or why his work may have frustrated them in the past, I think it just creates the right kind of spirit that has been the fuel for Doctor Who fandom, Gary, since the mid-70s.
And it's always great. I'm not just saying this to say it. Every single time I go back to like a classic story, whether because I know it's something we're going to talk about or whatever, I always end up like seeing it with like something I've never noticed before, or some angle, or some, like when I was talking about the regeneration trauma, and which is great because like Classic Who especially is like the gift that keeps on giving. You know, no matter how many times you see those stories, there's always something there to discover.
And I think as well with the times we've had recently with Doctor Who, and like we've had varying different experiences, but pretty much it's not been a celebratory mood, it's not been a really positive mood at times. You can't wallow in that. You can't stay in that headspace. I think it's really unhealthy. So I've really enjoyed, whether it's classic or me and Sarah, we've been watching some modern Who again recently. And it's lovely to go back and watch those episodes and sort of re-experience stories. Because I'm like that. You always see new things, or you appreciate, you might have seen it the first time, but not really understood it or appreciated what they were doing. And then you've come back to that episode years later and you go, oh, I get it now. Like, this is sort of the storyline, or this is why they had a character do this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, Charlotte. Absolutely. And I mean, I don't think it's a secret with a lot of the chat. But when I first watched Legopolis, I found it a very difficult watch. And I couldn't really understand what the fuss was about, other than, you know, the last sort of 10, 15 minutes.
So did I. I was 6. I hadn't got a clue what was going on.
And I'd feel a bit ashamed to say it now, but I was kind of like, is that it?
Is that what all the fuss is about?
But it doesn't help, obviously, that every, you know, New Who Doctor's regeneration story has got bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, poor Tom dangling for that cable. But then, obviously, as I've gotten older and I've gone back, you know, and I watched Tom's run from the start all the way, and tried not to listen to fan opinion, because you can't help it. You do start, you know, people start saying things like, "Oh, stop after season 15, and skip to 18, or do." And I just think, no, do you?
Be careful, Sarah. We don't want to stop people. We don't want to give people the idea that it's wrong to listen to fan opinion, because if they didn't listen to fan opinion, then we wouldn't be here.
Well, that's true. But it's not just. But there is something for, just discovering it for yourself as well. Take everything on board. Don't just be like, you know, tunnel vision. Otherwise, I might have stopped after season 15, and that would have been, you know, a tragedy. And I really love I love the Key to Time series. I love elements of season 17. I absolutely love, you know, the experimentalness of season 18. To see where, you know, Bidme took that, and understanding it was a maturer story, and then obviously Castrovelva as well. And Frontios is one of my favourite stories of all time, so it's just fascinating how it all comes about. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, because I couldn't say my piece on Monday.
It's interesting. I
don't upset anybody. Please don't. I wasn't upset.
No, it's interesting, the contrast between the classic series and the new series. Regards those key creative figures. You know, there's the fun in noting which story is number 250, or which episode aired on that date, on your birthday, or when you got on your wedding day, or whatever. All that's fun. But the key figures who were involved with it, I think that, at the time, they are largely names on a title sequence. And those title sequences, they've got, seems 3 or 4 times the amount of names on that they used to have. And they move the title sequences probably at twice the speed that they used to as well, Gary. You know, the credits, they go up so quick. I have no idea who the floor assistant was on, for example, on Flatline, but I could tell you who did that on Enlightenment, or on the Horror of Fang Rock, or something. You know, times change, don't they? But I would imagine that as history moves on now, and a lot of these people who are involved sort of make their way maybe onto the convention circuit, particularly if there is some sort of lengthy pause, then maybe we'll coax a few people into our ranks and onto the stage to tell their stories, the Chris Bidmeads of the 21st century?
Well, for me, the contrast in credits between the classic series and the new series. Classic series, the credits at the end always, while you're listening to the great theme, you could always, they went kind of slow enough where you could make out all the names. Now it's like, the credits sometimes are like faster than a speeding bullet, the way they go up the screen, and they're supposed to be called a credit crawl, and you watch that, and it's like, you call that a crawl? I could make out maybe one name in the last, during the current credits, but it is great to have it's always great when I recognize names of, like the costumers, the executive producers, or whatever. One last thing I do want to say, though, is, and this is in no small part to Dan and Simon's passion for the Davison era, is my estimation of the Davison era has gone way up in the last few years. Like I said, due in no small part to the way that Dan and Simon talk about it. And I regard, not that I ever disregarded it, but I actually I regard it now much more highly in many ways than I used to.
Yeah, I think I'd second that, Gary, actually, because I struggle with a lot of the 80s Doctors, but particularly Davison, because he is so mild-mannered and more human, which I know is ridiculous after growing up with the Tennant Doctor. So I was kind of like, what is it that Dan and Simon and David seeing it and going back. But yeah, I was saying I love I think season 21 in particular is very strong. I love Frontios, and I think Luke mentioned it on Monday's show. If Peter Davison had more stories like Frontios, it would have carried on. I'd love to have seen that progression, because those last kind of like 3-4 stories were just absolutely bang on.
I mean, broadly speaking, the thing with any sort of cultural institution, anything that's got a legacy, got a mythos, and runs on television for longer than 5 or 6 years, the average lifespan of a show used to be about probably 7 or 8 years. Now I'd say it's 4 or 5. But now with these shows and IPs that hang around, everything is up for a rethink, a rewatch, and a reappraisal with the passage of time, either for broader appeal or deeper meaning or metaphor for the times in which it was made, or simply because you might fancy something a bit different, or you're a little bit older than you were when it was originally on, or you're living a different pace of life, kind of lifestyle, your tastes have changed. And in all fairness, whilst there are eras of Doctor Who which I can't imagine I'll ever revisit again, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think that they should exist, or I would deny anyone the opportunity to reach back to them and sort of celebrate their fandom, expand their connection with the show, or diminish it. Go back to something. No, I'll pretend that doesn't exist. That's all part of the fun as well. But I do think that's fascinating about these big cultural touchstones, the big IPs, the Star Wars and the Star Treks and the Doctor Who's, obviously, but then the things the perennials that exist before television, those that have come from literature or from the stage and fables and all that kind of thing. I think it's all interconnected. I do wonder if people will look back on different phases of Type 40 Live in a similar way. Do people remember the Rosie era, for example? Here she is on the screen. She's out on a date there. She met Oscar there on Tinder. I don't know how their date went. Going off for a Ruby Murray. Right, see how they get on. See how they get on later on. See if it's his lucky night or not. But you see what I'm saying? Because we look back on all this stuff, and Charlotte was saying, I can't believe that we've been doing this for 250 shows or whatnot. But we've been through a creative process as well, haven't we? And the connections between us all. I mean, some of us were complete strangers before we started doing this, more or less. You know, we were kind of disconnected voices that kind of knew one another but didn't. Whereas others, like I'd known Simon for several years, and you look back with context, you think, oh, okay, that happened, that happens. And it extends to the people in the live chat as well, doesn't it, Sarah? You know, well, where would we be without them through all of this nonsense there?
Yeah, absolutely. You're all mad for staying with us this long. But we love you all. And yeah, I do wonder how much we've changed. I'd like to think we've all changed for the better, and we've grown and developed. And obviously over my time, as well as meeting friends and meeting you in the chat, you know, I've worked my way through, you know, the entirety of Classic Who as much as I can do what's still available. And I probably wouldn't have done that if it hadn't been for talking to people. I might have just stayed in my wheelhouse of just New Who. I mean, obviously, if certain eras had been better, maybe I wouldn't have wanted to have delved back into the past quite so much. But I'm so glad I did. I just think I feel richer for it, and and I feel like I could actually do some decent quizzes now on Classic Who, and I think I'd be okay.
Terrifying. Yes, it's been a scream, everybody. 250 of these, lots more to come. Whether you're a classic fan or a new series fan, lots to shout and scream about as ever. And I think that we should extend this conversation and go over to the live chat and see what people have got to say on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X about all of this nonsense so far. Yes. Cue Yaz. Excellent stuff. We're going to get plenty of mileage out of that. Thank you for joining us, everybody, so far. We've got some great comments.
Verada Seth is going to get jealous, Dan.
I know. I'll be fighting them off. They can fight one another. They can slog it out in one of those inflatable arenas.
I might give them ideas.
Oh.
In the chat, you know who you are.
Those giant, oversized boxing gloves and two very tight vest tops. That's just my thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Type 40 Live on my flight of fancy. And my God, yes, do I fancy them? Okay, so where are we? Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us for this one. We've got Alan, the Wonder Horse, in the live chat and watching on X. Evening all. Happy 250. Do you moisturize? Love the light. The Wonder Horse. Well, I do moisturize. I try not to overdo it though, mate. You know.
As long as it's not acid, you're fine.
Candles and now moisturizing.
Right,
Ahoy, shipmates, says Crimpling Doubloon. Happy 250. Ahoy, shipmates, to Crimpling Doubloon, to a long-standing supporter of everything that we've been doing here. Thank you so much. As is Rob Alexander. Good to see you. I think I was going to say Ollie Alexander then. Oh no, hope he doesn't turn up. Start gyrating in his speedos or whatever he gets up to. Okay, who else is here? Garbage is here to show 250 today and lots of exclamation marks. Cheers, Garbage. Good to have you back. We've got lots of round hellos from our friend Stephen Braddock too. Good to have you here as well, mate, to celebrate with us and to get stuck in on everything we're going to be talking about. Peter Harrington's joined us as well. Good to see you, Peter. And I love a good knees up, as Rob Alexander. Shuti Gatwa, he tries to keep his knees down, apparently, since playing
Unless
Doctor
he's
Who.
jumping off a table.
Yeah, we've seen evidence to the contrary. Yes, we've got lots more in the live chat. Hip, hip, hooray, congratulations, celebrations on reaching 250 from Rose Kirby and her customary good morning, afternoon, and evening to all humans and life forms. There we are. So it's good to know people are getting to the swing of this and don't view it as the indulgence that I was concerned that they would. Who else is here? Let's see who else we've unearthed. Tom from T-Dwarf Productions is still making spider models for the Oxford Museum. I'd forgotten about that. Let us know how many you've made so far. Isn't it wonderful, Sarah, the things that Tom does? Yeah. what's this? Good evening. Yes, I did. I was back in the late 90s, says Stephen Braddock.
I think that's a reply to somebody else in the chat.
I don't know. I'm not sure what that's about. It's 50 years of Terror of the Zygons, reminds Tom from T Dwarf Productions. And what else is here? Hellos and hi from Funky as well. Good to have you with us, Funky. And we've got Richard Brooks there who simply says tune. My word, a lot of these comments, but before we even started, Z3PO's with us as well. Z, great to see you, mate. When are you coming on the show? You got to come and talk to us here at Type 40 Live. Finally, let's get you into the console room. And Stephen O'Neill advises it's dry in Wigan, and he's had a sunny afternoon there. So we'd like at least one weather report, don't we?
It's been constant rain here today, and yesterday it was thundering and lightning up north. So yeah, that to look forward to. Up north.
Darren's in too. Happy 250 to you too, Darren, a long time supporter. Thank you so much, mate. Good to see you. Hope you and the missus are doing well and keeping out of trouble. Kieran Coley is in the live chat as well, saying good evening, good evening, good evening, Kieran. And Jack Thursby's there. Flatline. That's answer to your question there. We're working our way to the front. Jonathan Cox says hello, everyone, and we've got lots of reviews too of Logopolis and everything else. Christopher Bidmead, the before times, says Richard Brooks. The before times. The Zero Rooms in the live chat as well. Good to see you as well there, mate. Happy to welcome you back. And Ian David Diaz is in the live chat too. Good to see you, mate, joining us, even if it is remotely. Says, I can't watch the David Tennant episodes anymore because of what he stands for. Shame, really. Tennant has blotted his copybook with a lot of Doctor Who fans, mate. I know it's difficult when somebody politicizes themselves, even if they've got good intentions or believe that what they believe in and the things that they're extolling are for the good of all. It's still very dangerous, very shaky ground to step on, particularly when you're not as clever as you think you are, and that certainly applies to the twice Doctor, Mr. David Tennant. Tractators, says Stephen Braddock. From where? I like the sound of that. I saw what they did to Turlo. I'm not down for that. I'm just down for more of this. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of the support that we've had throughout 250 editions of this show and the podcasts and everything else that we've been doing as well. More comments. Ian says, I was gonna come on, but I think I'm too late. It's never too late, mate. It's never too late. Let's see if I can conjure up Ian David Diaz by the end of the show. I'll certainly do my best. Yes, so let us know your memories too of 250 editions of Type 40 Live. We'll be glad to hear your thoughts and your idea of what our greatest hits could be. We all know what Russell T Davies thinks his greatest hits are. Basically anything that's not Doctor Who, as it turns out. But isn't that so queer as folk? He was certainly right about that, wasn't he, Sarah?
Just a bit.
Oh, just lately, I've been thinking I could be obsessed with Doctor Who, Sarah. I could be obsessed with Doctor Who. And this is something that struck me quite recently when I went and looked up. I heard a record that I liked. I heard a track that I liked. A record, my God. Show my age. I heard a track that I liked playing in the supermarket. I thought, I really like this. Every time I hear it, I always really like it. I wonder who recorded it. Turns out this particular track was recorded by Dua Lipa. Now, has anybody ever heard of this girl?
Yes.
Yes, I just don't know her songs off my head, but I know her name.
I wasn't sure who she was. So I'd heard this track several times. I thought, you know what? I ought to go out of my way at night to find out what's the album called, what other stuff has she done. I might like it all. Let's join the 21st century.
Is she a big fan of the Peter Cushing Dalek films?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I went and looked her up because I had no idea even what she looked like. And I saw this and I thought, that's definitely very Dalek-y. And then I saw this. I thought, bloody hell, she's even sat with a TARDIS there.
That picture's better than the first one.
I'm sure you concentrated on the TARDIS.
Yeah, I'm sure you did as well.
More pictures like this.
Somebody pointing out the windows are all wrong. That is true, but I fixed it. I think we put it right there. So it could be. What do you think the odds are then that Dua Lipa could be a Doctor Who fan after all?
Never know.
She could be. She could like probably the Tennant and the Smith era.
You never know, do you? You
Got
never
a bit
know.
of the Amy Pond going off.
I think I may be a little too obsessed with Doctor Who when that's what I was looking at. You're quite right. You're quite right, Charlotte.
Dan's in negotiation right now to have her hold up a "Hi Dan" sign in a video.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can work our magic. We'll have a word with our agents. We'll talk to our people, won't we? You know who you are. Yes, believe it or not, this is the Doctor Who show. This is where we talk about Doctor Who, the past, the present, and the future. It's been quite a year for Doctor Who fans. You know, many of us sat here waiting, didn't we, for news of that season that was due to start. And when it started and ran for 8 weeks, wasn't it? It was like doing time in the trenches. It really was. It came and went pretty quickly. That's the good news. And here we are now, a few months on. And you know how it is. Things move quickly, don't they? Just like the credits on a new episode of television, Gary, that we were talking about earlier on. And it turns out that season 2 is now available on DVD, Blu-ray, and in a steelbook. Obviously, to order to your door in the modern way, or in the bricks and mortar stores. And this was sent to me. This is the season 2 box set there on the shelves at HMV, and I thought, well, this is nice. You know, they've got the security tag on there, and then I noticed rather than now, I go to HMV every now and again for old time's sake, really, and they've got like shelf cards on and things like that. So you know, like with the logo of the show, or you know, something to do with an alien planet that's been hand drawn, or arrows pointing to other releases. But next to the Doctor Who one, it's just a pride thing about the Q community. Yeah, I think that speaks to a lot of where the brand is now, or where it's perceived to be.
So I was completely distracted by the security tag itself, or maybe I'm getting obsessed.
Yeah.
Why does that look like the Federation helmet from a guard in Blake 7?
Oh, there you
Is
go.
it just me?
I was just thinking, it looks like one of the spider creatures from the end of the world.
Yes,
I was thinking, do they really expect anybody to rip this off?
You don't think it's in that much of a danger to you, Gary?
You're supposed to bite it off with your teeth, mate. A bit like Dua Lipa's fishnets earlier on. That's what you're supposed to go at it like a bull at a gate and sort of tear into it. Like, I mean, I can't imagine how Doctor Who has managed to associate itself with the queer community. However has that happened? It's a mystery to me. But yeah, go into HMV and you can go and pick up the new physical media edition of that. If you like. Okay, the surprises never stop here on the 250th edition of Type 40 Live. And it turns out it wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. And we have not just Rosie, the original team member Rosie, back on the show. We've managed to conjure up another of the original Type 40 Live pundits back from manoeuvres overseas, where he's been directing something or someone. It's probably best not asked too many questions about that. We'll just welcome back with a round of applause and a big old cornetto for Ian David Diaz, the Mega Geek.
Yay!
Yay!
Happy 250th Ian. Welcome back.
Has Shruti gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
Good.
I think so, but he could come back at any moment.
Bye, everybody.
Great to see you, pal. Take care. See you next year.
Yeah, see ya. How's everybody?
Good
All
to
right?
see you. I'm
Good to see
very well.
everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, Doctor Who hasn't been part of my life since those two destroyed the show. So, but you're talking about old Who and new Who, so cool. And it's a 250 as well, isn't it? 250 episode, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is,
so,
yeah. So it's great to have you back for this special occasion. We were just talking with people in the live chat there, like Matthew Butterfield. He says, congratulations all. Domgo, even Domgo is happy. I have no doubt about that. And Jonathan Cox says, happy birthday to everybody, Ian. That includes you. Dan Miko is also there with a really cool black guitar. Can you play it, though?
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Sentai Ranger Don is in too. He says, "Go Cowboys!" I don't even know what that sounds like. A football thing, Gary. I'm going to leave that.
NFL, yeah.
No, it's too much for me. Too much for me. Fortunately, I'm happy to say that we do have some words of somewhat wisdom to talk about. We're not going to milk it too much, but I think it can't go without notice that former showrunner Stephen Moffat has broken his Who silence. Okay, I think he spoke about it 3 or 4 weeks ago, in truth, but he hasn't said anything since before things started to get very sort of oblique, shall we say, and before Jane Tranter and people like that stepped in. So Stephen Moffat, even though he's not been in the job for how long? 8 years, something like that, Charlotte? Since he was showrunner?
Yeah, he sort of, at first, he didn't really have anything to do with Who after he'd left. He was very just doing his other shows. And then in the last couple of years, he's become a lot more either on social media when he rarely uses it, or in interviews. He has sort of opened up a bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if almost we said about Capaldi sort of having that sense of being hurt. I wouldn't be surprised if he needed a bit of space because of probably the way he
what's happened to him
with the BBC.
Well, he went off to Amazon and got a very lucrative deal, Ian, to turn that book, The Time Traveler's Wife, into what was going to be a really a multi-series adaptation. Initially, it was a film with Eric Bana and Rachel McAdams a few years ago, and a lot of people complained that so much was left out of the book for that movie. So he was going to turn the book into a far broader project. Unfortunately, apparently it was really good, this new version, but nobody watched it. So he's kind of back knocking on doors again, and he's just sold his brand new project, in fact, to Channel 4. That's why he was talking to the Radio Times this week. But this being the Radio Times, of course, they know which side their bread is buttered and what gets their clicks. So they kind of led with Doctor Who. After all, ex-Doctor Who boss shares verdict on Billy Piper's surprise regeneration.
What did he say?
Well, you'd think, you think to yourself, well, why put that bloke on the spot? You know, Stephen Moffat's tenure on the show, he introduced these two fabulous doctors in Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. You'd think maybe ask him about that, or maybe ask him about sort of Boom, or Joy to the World if you have to. But no, they chose to sort of chase him up, really, about his wishes for Doctor Who's future. Now, he claims, and we know that the showrunners always lie, or at least they lie when they're in the jobs, don't they? He claims that he's only vaguely in touch with current showrunner Russell T Davies. So that's the first one. But he says when we do communicate, we're usually talking about the fact that we're both working for Channel 4 at the moment. I don't know what the future is, Stephen Moffat says. I hope there is one, but I have no idea. He went on to say here when pushed, I genuinely don't have any insider information, but they have hedged their bets concerning Billie Piper. He says, they've not said she's the Doctor, so I don't know. I don't even know if they know.
Of course they don't know.
Did you see that, Ian? The gimmick regeneration from a couple of months ago? Did you catch that on the news or anywhere?
I saw it on YouTube, and because I refuse to watch any of Shooty's rubbish, and I just laughed, you know. And but the thing is, though, she's in demand. Billie Piper. She was in Wednesday. She's got quite an established part in Wednesday. So, and also she's in other shows as well. So, and she still looks good. Actually, she doesn't. You know, she's aged a bit, but she still looks good. I don't. What I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are still, you know, in the camp of Doctor Who. What I heard is that it was a last moment decision, and they brought her in.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if
she
that's
says
true.
that
she's confirmed it, Billy. Yeah, she was at a convention, Ian, and a fan outright asked her, like, what's happening? And she was like, I have to be really careful how I speak.
She wasn't careful. She actually said it.
To be fair, she didn't confirm she was a doctor or not. That's what I think, she was being careful, but she did say, I got asked like 2 months before it aired or whatever it was, can you come in? So it was last minute.
But she can't be the Doctor. It's ludicrous, isn't it? think about it. It's so silly if she was the Doctor. Just that would really kill the audience dead if that was the case, wouldn't it?
It pretty much has. I don't think
yeah.
anybody
Oh.
was remotely pleased or excited or hungry to see what happened next. I think a great many people wish they'd have turned off 30 seconds before then, maybe even 30 episodes before then, if not 60, come to think of it. But yes, Stephen Moffat there, I genuinely don't have any insider information. They have hedged their bets. I don't even know if they know. So he's claiming ignorance. And when Russell T Davies, who's the guy who is the current showrunner, he's claiming ignorance, there wasn't any real surprises there. He did go on to say the spin-off's been shot, and I imagine decisions don't get taken until that's gone out, and that's not for a while. But he went on to say, speaking as a Doctor Who fan, I think this is more so, it's always painful when it's off the air. I think there's a national duty for the BBC to make Doctor Who. As always with Stephen Moffat, those are nicely chosen words. They're relatable. It speaks to the fan in all of us, that part of us, even the most disconnected of fans in 2025. That's probably going to ring a bell with, I think, Ian. But is there really a national duty for the BBC to make Doctor Who? Because it is a business at the end of the day.
I don't think they care about Doctor Who, tell you the truth. I mean, I've got a couple of insiders at the BBC, and some of my contacts says they don't really care about Doctor Who at all. When they had
We've
the
known
deal
that for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, when they had the deal with Disney, it was like, okay, well, this thing is going to be big, and then suddenly it wasn't, and then and now they don't. Nobody can make a decision on it, according to my contact. I don't know about your contact, Dan, but they're still umming and ahhing about whether they should bring it back or not. So I don't know what's going on there, but unless somebody has other information.
I do have
no one?
information.
Oh, do you?
Make sure you stay tuned for Type 40 Live. It's all I'll say about that for the time being. But I mean, best of intentions, Sarah. I'm very fond of Stephen Moffat. I love his sense of humor. I like that he's as transparent as you could probably be in a situation like that. And even now, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because he is certainly friendly. There's a mutual respect between him and Russell T Davies, even if it's exaggerated for the press. He is in a difficult situation, isn't he? Because he's one of the people that's always going to be asked whether he's got any answers or not.
Yes.
He's a good writer. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, you're right, Ian. He's difficult because, he's always going to be tied to it, but he is a fan. Yeah, and he works in TV, and you've got to have these friendships and working, professional relationships and things.
Yeah,
he's a good writer.
And I think Moffat has got a very different attitude to Russell for many different things as well. And whenever you see them together, now and again, it sort of flashes. You can see, like, Russell will say something and Moffat will pull a face. It's like he can't help it to be like, no, I don't agree with that. You can see
noticed
it
that there were an interview. You remember when they were showing off the TARDIS interior?
Yes.
and
I like that.
Yeah, Moffat was the epitome of, you've redecorated, I don't like it. He was grimacing all over the place.
No, do you know what it was? I think Russell was saying, and this was like, should have been a big hint, because I think this was an early interview they did, that he was basically arguing you can sort of change the inside of the TARDIS.
He saying he was going to get rid of the central console.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was sort of saying in a general way, but you can change this bit of the TARDIS and you can change that. And Moffat just had a look on his face, like, what are you going on about? You have to have the central console.
Do you remember when we first saw on Type 40, Dan showed us the picture of the TARDIS? I remember saying, yeah, it looks good. I can't wait for them to finish it. It was just white, wasn't it? It was just white. It was like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, there you go.
It doesn't seem that long ago, and yet it may as well be a lifetime ago, hadn't it, Ian? It's
I can't look at that man again either. They really spoilt it for me. I mean, I know I've been away from Type 40 for quite a long time, but it was for a good reason, because I just don't agree with the last two eras of Doctor Who, and I actually honestly believe that's not Doctor Who. But everybody's got their own opinion, right? So, but it is the 250 episode. That's why I'm here. So there you go, the celebration.
Yeah, because you're our friend.
Really good to have you back.
You're our friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A reminder, that
so
Stephen Moffat was there publicising this new Channel 4 series that he's got coming up. It's called Number 10. It's going to be a political drama set in Number 10 Downing Street. So it's going to be the fictional home of a fictional British Prime Minister. And he says he's not going to stipulate the identity of any party this particular Prime Minister is going to be there representing, which sort of government it is. A left-wing or right-wing government. It's going to be a more general thing in the vein of, and very topical in the vein of Drop the Dead Donkey on Channel 4 30 years ago. So it's going to be quite spontaneous and led by stories that are in the news, which I think is going to be a tall order. Stephen Moffat remains clearly very creative and ambitious. So I look forward to seeing what may come of that. I mean, I don't really pay much attention to anything that Channel 4 do now. I put them in the same bracket pretty much as the BBC, Ian. I think they're largely irrelevant. Yeah. But Stephen Moffat is somebody who hasn't let me down in the way that I feel that perhaps Russell T Davies has.
Didn't Stephen Moffat write that one with the guy from what's that long-running show? It's another movie now. Was it?
Bonneville.
Yeah, him and
Douglas is cancelled. It was called Douglas is cancelled, and it starred Karen Gillan and Hugh Bonneville.
Yeah, I watched one episode. That was enough for me. It wasn't very good, but I do. He is a good writer, though. He's a very good
Ian
writer.
Back with all the old catchphrases. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. If he's going to do Number 10, he could always give this guy a knock. He has more than enough experience dealing with chancers and politicians, so that could get quite tasty. It's just been commissioned
from Malcolm Tucker. It's now
just been commissioned. No date for that yet, but I would imagine it'd be sooner rather than later if it's going to be something that's topical. Later rather than later, we feel, for the return of Doctor Who. They tell us it's coming back. Whatever. We're too busy having far too much fun here at Type 40 Live, whether it's on or not. Check out the podcasts and find out for yourselves across all major podcatchers, as always, and our home feed at type40.podbean.com. But Ian, this is Type 40 Live on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook with Ian David Diaz, the Mega Geek, back. And we knew he was coming back, so we put out a few of these.
Brilliant.
Put out a few ready to get your gams into, and some pearls of wisdom to nourish the mind while we go somewhere else for another conversation, somewhere else completely, somewhere cozy, somewhere where you might have to watch your back, though.
Now, I suggest you start watching Type 40, because I can't. I've got to watch this little blighter. The jobs are... I'll have less of that from you, thank you very much. Know your place.
Know your place.
Look, if I have to run up a flight of stairs, you come and find me.
I'll be in the lift.
That's going to the bottom of the floor, then. Keep watching Type 40. There's good chaps.
Thank you, Scott, and all those cosplayers there that help us with those little films in between the various segments here at Type 40 and Type 40 Live. Greatly appreciated. You rogues, you devils. More of them later on, I don't doubt. But Doctor Who itself has gone for now. Not going to be back in production, never mind on the screen anytime soon. Leaving us fans, and these fans, punch drunk really, from the last few rounds, and short of new stuff to watch too. Ian, obviously, if we can't have Who, and there's plenty of us that would argue that we haven't had real Doctor Who for quite a time, then where can we go to get a fix of something kind of like it? Or at the very least, something that's going to scratch the itch? Something pretty close has turned up on Netflix in the last week or so. And if you to look at the premise of it, you think, well, this sounds nothing at all like Doctor Who. When I mentioned the Thursday Murder Club, this brand new film, high-profile Netflix movie that's finally arrived for August Bank Holiday weekend, it was. widely watched and much talked about already. It got our attention initially because David Tennant's in it. That's not exactly a rarity on British TV in particular, Gary. He's still bloody everywhere. He's only a supporting cast member of the Thursday Murder Club, though. There's a main set of 4. We're not going to. You haven't seen it.
Spoilers, sweetie. Spoilers.
It is. Of course, he played the Doctor twice. It's twice too many for some, I'm aware now.
Exactly.
But the main cast of 4 are all very familiar character actors who've got like these decades-long careers each, haven't they, Ian? And
yeah,
all of them have a sort of Doctor Who connection to one degree or another. But there's a broader cast that are positively chock full of Who folk and their familiars. So have you seen this, Ian? Have you seen all the fuss about this? You're not seeing the film, but you're aware that it's dropped.
Yeah, Keith went to see the premiere of it in Leicester Square with his friend, and he said it was really good. Yeah, he said it was really good. So I'm going to try and catch it. I mean, it has a lot of. What's interesting about it? It has a lot of English TV stars and big stars as well. Just like Wednesday, was watching Wednesday, they had so many stars in it, from Joanna Lumley to Billie Piper to Lady Gaga was in one was yesterday's episode.
Okay,
you know, loads of stars, loads of British faces.
In
Johnny Vegas in it?
No, not yet.
You've got to watch it for Paul Freeman's in it. Remember Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yes.
I was like,
Cool.
wow, it's you.
What's he look like now?
Very he's an old gentleman now, but he's still got those really piercing blue eyes. That's what I zoned in. I'm like, oh, it's you. I remember you. You were brilliant, and yeah, he's fantastic in this. Again, it's another supporting part.
I did look into it, Sarah, as to whether that gentleman had any Doctor Who connections. I couldn't find any, but lots of people involved in this do. The guest stars, there's people who are guest stars on Doctor Who. There's multiple doctors in there, not just Tennant. It's been written by Katie Brand, who used to be a comedian. She never made me laugh much, but she's written this. It's been adapted from the book by Richard Osman. There's Richard. Now, Richard's married to the actress Ingrid Oliver, who we all know as the recurring Doctor Who character, the unit scientific advisor, Osgood. Do you remember her? They've sort of replaced her now, but she was in it. She must have been attached to the show for 2 or 3 series, hadn't she, Charlotte?
Yeah, and I love that character.
Did she replace Lee? She replaced Lee
I'm
Evans.
sensing sarcasm in your voice.
Did she replace Lee Evans? Did I get? Am I wrong with that?
Probably.
Charlotte, we don't know how good we've got her, and then instead now we've got Shirley Bingham, who is not as.
I know.
Good
I should probably look at those days with a bit of like rose tinted glasses, shouldn't I?
Maybe. I wasn't surprised to see Ingrid Oliver in the cast of this, because even though it's been adapted from Richard Osman's book by Katie Brand, you think, well, you're going to probably put your missus in it, aren't you, Gary? I mean, it's and she's good. Ingrid Oliver. I do think that Osgood was a bit of a nothing part, really, but I've seen her in other things, and she's in this. She plays a part very, very well. But did it make you miss Osgood at all, Gary, when you saw Ingrid in this?
I saw this like a couple days after it came out, and I loved it. I hadn't read the books, although I've since ordered the books because I really want to, follow, these characters. And I mean, I know that right after I saw it, I was sending, Sarah and Dan PMs going, "You've got to watch this. It's great." And there's like so many Who related actors in it, and she's really good. And no spoilers. The way that they leave it, she can easily come back in the adaptations of the other books.
I went full like Heat magazine on you, though, didn't I, Gary? Because Gary had not realised that Ingrid Oliver was married to Richard Osman.
I didn't know that.
And he just went, And the actress who plays Osgood's in there. I was like, well, Gary, that's because this. And I started sending like all the articles of how they met and the romance and when they got married. It's like, all right, Sarah, calm down. I didn't need all that.
Have you noticed that in these shows in Netflix, there are a lot of British actors in there? This one, and as I said, Wednesday, and there's other shows. Well, it's because of what's happening in Hollywood at the moment, where there's no productions whatsoever, and the productions that do exist in Hollywood, they're moving to other countries because of the tax breaks. Because it's the tax break in Hollywood, in LA is really crap. So everybody's going to Dallas and Atlanta and Scotland. So that's why we're seeing so many British actors filter in these films on Netflix. So,
I know that Jason Connery has set up a huge studio in Scotland, hasn't he, to sort of capitalise in the same way that Bad Wolf has in Wales, I suppose, to harness upcoming talent and to give them a place to really grow and to bring more projects to Scotland in the way that they have successfully to Wales. Netflix do have an office and studios in London, because my son's worked for them. So I know that they do have a presence there. But obviously, you're right. I mean, predominantly, it is still in America. So Ingrid Oliver plays Joanna in this film. Now, she's the daughter of Joyce there. Joyce is played by Celia Imrie. Now, she's the only one of the main four who's actually been in Doctor Who. Yeah, I've always liked her. And to be fair, I did like her in Doctor Who. She was Miss Kislet.
Oh, yeah.
In the Bells of St. John. Charlotte, you must have liked that one. A good Matt Smith classic.
Well, to be honest,
apart from the ending.
To be honest, I've spoke before. Her sort of ending scene, her character, I think is one of the most heartbreaking, brilliantly acted sort of guest star moments. When you sort of click, God, she was a kid. And then, it's horrible. It's absolutely
but
horrible.
the ending sucked.
Isn't she a kind of
man?
Great intelligence in some way or something?
Basically, the great intelligence took her as a child. So in her head, when she's free, she's still that child. So you hear like this woman who sounds like she's about 10. And the way Cecilia performs that, it sort of chills you.
It's really creepy.
I like the confrontation between her and Matt Smith in particular, Ian. I think Matt Smith continued to grow into the part the entire time he was doing it.
I really loved that episode, apart from the ending, which, she could have gone. Anyway, we're just whatever. I didn't like the ending, but I do like the episode. I like the bike when he drives up the the Shard.
Yeah, I like that. I like all the goofy stuff. I do. Yeah. I'm a mark for all that sort of stuff. And it made me want to go back and watch this episode again. Celia Imrie's also been in in lots of Big Finish stuff, of various different characters, and she was one of the pilots in the Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh, yeah, she was. Yeah.
An eye-watering 26 years old now, Sarah, that film. 26 years old.
Yeah.
But she's been on TV for a very long time, and a couple of movies and stuff like that. And you know what, right? I think she should be classed as a national treasure, because she's been in so many things on British TV.
Too,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway,
they are all national treasures to one degree or another that make up this four. I mean, we've got Ben Kingsley sat there as
rocking the bow tie.
Griff, 81 years old. Doesn't he look great? I can't remember the last time I saw him.
She's the odd one out, though, Dan. Because if you look at the three, they're big movie stars, but she's the odd one out, and so
I suppose so. Yeah. I mean, the last time I saw Pierce Brosnan, he was so he wasn't as Doctor Who. He was as Dr. Fate. So close.
He was in The Gentleman, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I didn't see it. I think that was before this. So this was the DC movie. It wasn't DC Studios then. It was still the DC Expanded Universe, where he was in Black Adam with The Rock, playing Dr. Fate, one of my favourite DC characters. He's Ron Ritchie, a retired union leader in the Thursday Murder Club. But he does have a connection, sort of, to Doctor Who, because back in 1993, Pierce Brosnan was lined up to be Doctor Who in Denny Martin Flynn's script, one of the many movie scripts that they went through on the road to the Paul McGann TV movie. So Pierce Brosnan was lined up to star as one of the Doctors in that with Leonard Nimoy, the intended director. The other Doctor, who was going to regenerate into Pierce Brosnan, was Tom Baker. The script was called Doctor Who: The Jewels of Time. There, so I do often wonder, even though Brosnan had that long stint as another British entertainment icon, I do sometimes wonder what kind of Doctor he could have been. You know, Gary?
You know what? It's hard for me to picture it. It really is, because, you know, I'm so used to him as Bond and Remington Steele and the movies he's done. I mean, just off the top of my head, I don't know what it would be like to have him,
David Tennant.
Yeah, deal with all the
slight Irish twang.
Fighting.
Yeah, he'd be like
and
David Tennant, wouldn't he? Yeah, because like
I could have seen him as the Victorian Edwardian gentleman.
Yeah, but he's really good looking though, and you know, I mean, majority of the Doctors were okay looking, weren't they? But Pierce is like he's like handsome, isn't he?
They absolutely would have had the companion.
Conventionally handsome, I suppose.
Yeah, they would have absolutely had the companion, whatever one of his companions fall in love with them. Absolutely.
Yes.
I can picture him though having a bit of an edge, because I've always found with Brosnan, whatever he's in, he sort of has that feel of, God, I'm not going to mess with him. Like even in this, where the character is, I think, written a lot lighter than what you associate with this actor usually. He has got some really good sort of comedic moments, but then in other times he is sort of that fighter character they write him as. So I could see him having that sort of gruffness, a bit of edge if he played the Doctor.
Charlotte, for all the cliches that are in the Thursday Murder Club, and there are lots.
Oh yeah.
In respect to the main four characters, they slightly pull the curtain back on a, if not darker, a certainly more complex past life for all four of them. Beautifully done and played by each of the actors.
Yeah, and I like how each of the ones that you see the family extensions of, like Ben Kingsley hasn't got much of a family, but he has. You see his son, who's also a Doctor Who actor from the past, and I like how you sort of see the tenderness then, but then they're fighting a bit, him and his son, and they don't get on, and that's nice. Yeah. That's a bit of added stuff for his character to play with in this. And that's what I found watching this, actually, that you could tell they knew that there was a bit of like that British sense of like winking and nodding at the camera.
Yes.
And that sort of, we know what we're doing, let's have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But there was real sort of moments of, no, this is real like harsh stuff that's being dealt with quite delicately and quite nicely, especially to do with, like I said, if you think about it, most of the characters here are older. So there's certain life stuff that comes up when you're older, and that's
it was
very hard to write some of this.
We'll get to it in a minute, but the Helen Mirren and her husband. Yeah, that's the one that got me.
Yeah.
There's lots of different strands that are all sort of rolled around what is basically, it's a fairly run-of-the-mill whodunit storyline, I suppose you could say, Gary, but it's brought to life in the same way that they used to do the old Peter Ustinov Poirot movies. Do you remember those?
Yes.
They would fill them with Hollywood stars and let them not exactly goof off, but let them really have fun with the characters and play them up, you know.
I get the feeling that it's aimed for people of our age, because if you look at the context of Netflix, it's mostly, the new stuff's mostly aimed for younger than us. But I get the feeling they made this one for us, people like us, I guess.
Yeah, this is,
we know them.
This kind of stuff is absolutely my bread and butter. I'm actually doing a rewatch of all the David Suchet Poirot series now.
I love that stuff.
But this is my bread and butter. I mean, I watch, Sister Boniface and Father Brown and Midsummer Murders and Shetland and Brokenwood Mysteries. All of that is like my oxygen. I love it. So this was great. And I do like the fact that, they all have a distinct background, but they all are still, I mean, in the show, their characters are still so active. They don't want to fall into the, I've been consigned to this home where I can, live out the rest of my life. They're all like, they know they're still have a lot to contribute. They're in this specialized club that they've set up. And Helen Mirren's great because, she drops hints about what she used to do, and you kind of wait to see if it pays off or not. And no, their interactions are great. And I read a quick interview with Chris Columbus, the director, and there was also a quote there from Helen Mirren. And they asked him, they said, would you want to continue on to the series? And he said in a second, and Helen Mirren said, I would do it. All of them apparently said we would do this again in a second. And they said it just depends on if it's popular enough to warrant it. But all of them are already in on.
Oh, it'll be.
Yeah.
Definitely do at least one, if not all of them. I do think, honestly, I know we have a laugh about spotting Doctor Who actors, but Richard Osman, clearly, we know he's a geek. I know he's a Doctor Who fan. He has made this for us, because there's actually a line when they're in the car where Helen Mirren says, "Does anybody want a jelly baby?" And I went, yes.
That could have been some sort of nod or another.
I think so.
Helen Mirren's 80 years of age
as well. Look at that.
Helen Mirren's 80 years of age now, and I thought she was great in this. I don't always enjoy her in many things, to tell you the truth. I could take her or leave her, but I did think she was very nicely balanced in this, between being warm and being at a slight distance, I suppose, which is, I suppose, the balance of any formidable actress who's clocked up 60 years, I think. Again, a 60-year career from Helen Mirren.
Very different.
We talked about Helen Mirren last week.
I'm not gonna spoil it. There's one scene that she has with a doctor. I'm not going to give any more details than that. Has one scene with a doctor where she is like, you do not want to mess with this lady.
It's not Shooty, is it, by any chance?
No. But it is a doctor. But she's like, she still has a lot of, her character is not to be messed with in this. But there's a lot of tender scenes for her too. For me, the ending, again, no spoilers of this, was absolutely heartbreaking.
How long is it anyway?
2 hours.
It's nearly 2 hours. The other day on the last edition of the show, we spoke about Helen Mirren because she was a favoured choice of her ex-boyfriend, Christopher H. Bidmead, the late Christopher H. Bidmead. When he was script editor, he wanted her to take over the role of the Doctor. And how serious he was about that, I'm not entirely sure. But Helen Mirren does have range. For me, the Doctor is a bloke. It's that simple. But I thought she was great in this. Obviously, being a woman of age, lots of range, and to have her demonstrate a certain degree of skills which you would usually associate with one of her co-stars from an earlier role was a nice little sort of flip on what I probably would have expected from her. She's been playing a lot of sort of Mobland moms in recent years, I feel.
She's in The Gentleman as well, isn't she? She's in with Piers in The Gentleman, Piers and Her. Yeah, Piers and Her is in the show The Gentleman. Yeah.
Isn't that one Mobland? Is that it?
Oh, sorry, Mobland.
Mobland.
Because there was two similar ones, Gentleman and Mobland.
Get them all mixed up. There's only those are loose connections, I know. The nearest Ben Kingsley ever got is that he was rumoured to have been cast as Davros back in 2007. And this was all over the tabloid newspapers. Did you remember reading anything about this?
Yeah.
It rings a bell now you've mentioned it.
But he would have been perfect as the Thunderbirds. Or is it the Hood? He would have been perfect as the Hood if they made
he was, and he wasn't very good, Ian.
Was he?
Do you remember those live-action Thunderbirds movies?
The first one. They just only made one.
I've drowned it out, Charlotte, apart from the song. I quite like the song.
No, but he was the villain. And
was he?
Yeah, and he was. You could tell it was nothing to do with his acting. It was just a terrible script.
Right, gotcha. I
Bless
did
him.
not know he was in that film. Sorry, I did not know.
I always thought Ben Kingsley had made a good master, you know, in the kind of like
Oh, absolutely.
Alexander
Yep.
McQueen kind of
Yeah,
style.
yeah.
You know, like
He's a good actor.
involved.
So if that's not enough Doctor Who sort of semi connections for you, I don't know what is, quite frankly. I mean, the synopsis for this film is that 4 retirees spend their time solving cold case murders for fun, but their casual sleuthing takes a thrilling turn when they find themselves with a real whodunit on their hands. Directed by Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Harry Potter guy Chris Columbus. Some great movies on his filmography when you go and look back to the 80s and the 90s, Adventures in Babysitting, that kind of thing. Lots of movies that I loved when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. And obviously been around a long time now, a bit of a veteran, safe pair of hands, you could say, but absolutely right, I feel, for something like this, Gary.
Yeah, I can't, you mentioned Vince, I can't even tell you the crush that I had on Elizabeth Shue in that movie.
Still have.
Adventures in Babysitting, yes.
Quite
And
honest.
you know what? I'm going to go so far as to say I still 100% believe Brosnan could easily still do Bond. Absolutely, he could still do Bond.
He was my Bond when I was going to the movies to see Bond films. I had the biggest crush on him. And I still do. I know he's in his 80s, but he looks fantastic.
He does.
And Duncan, I know you asked about the singing. He doesn't sing, but you do get to see him in a rubber dinghy in a pool. So it's just it's worth watching it for that alone, as far as I'm concerned.
He could be the Bond actor who has who's adapted more easily to roles that are different from the character of James Bond. When I look at all the various different things he's played lots of bad guys. He's played quite earthy characters like Ron in this. So there's a good deal of variety there for a man who, even into his 70s now, is a very good-looking man. So you'd think, well, how can a man who looks like this chiseled portrayal? But he does. He seems to make interesting choices all the time. He seems very self-aware, and he doesn't subvert his earlier, most famous character in this at all. He kind of plays it. He plays the character straight. Well, he takes the character seriously, and I think that's probably the saving grace of this entire thing. None of them, because this would have broken it, because when you look at the story and some of the cliches, it's quite silly, but none of them are sending it up. They're all playing it completely seriously, and that's what sold me on it. I loved this film.
Yeah,
and his son in the movie is somebody who I think would have made an incredible doctor.
Oh yes,
Tom Ellis.
Yeah,
I
know for a fact Ian will agree with you about that, won't you, Ian?
He should have been the doctor after Peter. He should have been. I mean, everybody knows he should have been, but hey, management had a different idea, I guess. So there you go.
Tom Ellis has had quite a career since he was since he was in Doctor Who. He played Dr. Thomas Milligan, who was Martha Jones' fiance in the finale of Series 3, I think. Was he in just that 2-parter, or was he in more episodes? I can't quite remember.
Just that one. Just in the finale.
What happened to that storyline?
It got thrown out the bin, didn't it? Because he was famous. He got really famous fast in the States, so they couldn't bring him back.
He was very babyface, as Dan has now shown us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gosh, look at him there. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think this was made because of the fact that The Man Inside was a huge success for Netflix. I don't know if you heard of that one with
Man
Ted
Inside.
Danson. Yeah, so Ted Danson plays an old age pensioner who basically gets hired by a private detective to go into an old age pensioner place to solve a kind of a crime, really. So I think because of the success of that, this was greenlit.
Yeah, and they're doing a second season of that's coming out soon.
All right, cool. Because I like the
it's a
first
series.
Season. Yeah,
it's like 8 episodes. It's 8 episodes. Everything's 8 episodes now.
Yeah,
I'll have to look out for that because I do really like Ted Danson.
Yeah,
I feel like, and what I loved about this in general, and this is what I agree, I think this did almost feel like Doctor Who, like with the feel of it in times, because it just felt British. Every bit of dialogue, every character felt like they came from Britain. And I mean that, like, even though this had an American, this was Amberlin, this was Spielberg's company who made this. Like, obviously Netflix is international, and sometimes when you get British material but it's made by international people, it loses that sense, that sort of, how I said, how it's written.
Columbus did the Harry Potter films, didn't he? Did the first two.
Yes,
so
so he's very
he's a good pedigree.
Sense of humour. So this that's what I loved about this. It just, every time, every line, I felt like, yeah, this feels like it's British through. The more we have that, I think that's better.
And you know what I really loved about this? Again, I'm really anxious to read the books when I get them, is that they don't play into the whole cliche of, oh, well, somebody who's in, a senior center and withering away and like refines their spark of life, whatever. All these it's like all these characters wouldn't even remotely consider that they're obsolete or out of touch. It's like they're still just as vital as they ever were. They play it like that. Being in this club and solving the murders energizes them. The chemistry between this police officer character and the four of them is fantastic. It's like they have all the vitality of people like half their age. Their brains are just as sharp as they ever were. It's just I'm probably going to be watching this. Yeah.
You never feel like you're watching a sort of a Cocoon style thing, do you?
Right. Yes, exactly.
But you know what, right? These people would never be in a old pensioner's house, would they? They'll never be. I've been to a few.
I've seen characters like that. I'm like, yeah, that's.
Have you? I haven't.
But it's not even. It's not even like a house. I mean, I guess it's like, what do they say? It's like a converted convent or whatever. And the apartments that I only wish I could live in the apartments that these guys are living in on this show.
It's a retirement village called Cooper's Chase, and it just looks gorgeous. Yeah, I'd move in a heartbeat. I really would. These two characters. So this is on the left. That's Naomi Ackie playing Donna De Freitas, who's a local police officer, and there's Daniel Mays as well, who's in everything, playing DCI Chris Hudson on the right. Now Naomi Ackie, she's been in Doctor Who as well. Can anybody remember where they may have seen her? You may have had to have squinted to see her. It was quite a minor part. Anybody got any clues?
Nope.
Was she a human?
She was a human. She was in, this is 10 years ago now, and I didn't remember this. I had to look it up. She was in, no, she wasn't. Hang on a second. Which one was she in?
Hang on. Oh, no, that's not the one
she was in Face. She was in Face the Raven. There,
right.
Wow.
Peter Capaldi. Okay. And a future Marvel Cinematic Universe star there. That's Letitia Wright.
Oh, right.
Comforting her on the stairs there in Face the Raven back in 2015. Wow. So yeah, I'd have been guessing all night on that one. I don't mind admitting, but yeah, Daniel Mays, he was in Doctor Who as well. There he was as the
Night
dad.
Terrors, yeah.
In Night Terrors, which I think was probably around 2011, Sarah, something like that.
He's been around for a long time, hasn't he? This actor.
He's in Bookish as well.
He's hardly changed in the face, though, hasn't he? Like, look at that picture, and then look at the current picture.
Yeah, but his stomach is quite big, isn't it now? Or unless they padded him up.
This has got to be a prosthetic,
it felt fake to me. Yeah. That felt fake.
Yeah, it looks fake, doesn't it?
The way he's leaning into it. So, whilst I do sometimes think, oh, must they keep getting the same actors for the same kind of roles? When you're as good as he is, he's consistently good. Then I don't really mind, because it's that kind of part. It's a very Daniel Mays part. Why not give it to Daniel Mays?
The actors sell the show overseas, so even though people don't really know him, they know his face from different shows. So it's just one of those faces that you might tune in because you see it on the post, or you see like pictures like this. That's why you keep saying the same faces all the time, because it's very comfortable for people of age that like this stuff to see familiar faces. Yeah, so there you go.
Other familiar names on the credits were Thomas Newman. Gary, I noticed, doing the music. Now, he did a couple of James Bond films, Spectre and Skyfall, and I think was he Oscar nominated for a couple of Finding Nemo. A couple of Pixar movies. So big, all you music people out there, movie music people, you probably will know all of his credits. But I thought the music was a level up than I would have expected. That's probably why, because it's this guy who's.
It was nice, and it wasn't. There's always like a certain kind of music, that gets a bit twee. I think like Midsummer Murders kind of thing. But I really thought like the music did elevate it.
I never heard a single banjo. Not once.
And I don't know. I didn't want to say anything. I wasn't sure if you were planning on putting up the picture. There was another one of the kind of major, I guess, co-stars outside of the main four, who has not only Doctor Who cred but Bond cred too.
You're talking about Jonathan Pryce?
I am. Yes, and so we have the
Gary. How long have you been on this show? I've got a picture for everything.
Of course. I'm slapping my own hand right now.
So
he's in this film.
He is. Tell us about it, Gary. Who does Jonathan Pryce play?
He plays Helen Mirren's loving husband, who has occasional, I guess he's in there, kind of an Alzheimer's patient, but not like severe, because one of the keys in the movie is he's still very aware and alert, but then slides sometimes into, which is kind of one of the sadnesses of the story. But
you get the impression, Gary, that they've actually relocated to the retirement village because he needs to be there.
Yes,
he could live independently, but she's moved there because she needs to be with him. He's been there for her, now she is there for him. None of that is spoken. It's just beautifully played.
Yes, there's no sense of like being a burden or self-pity or anything like that. There's a scene where they get up and dance, which is beautiful, and in many ways you can tell this couple is as vital and in love as probably the day they got married, which is great. And but when I saw him, I went, wow, okay, there's the master, from from Chris Field. And then I didn't occur to me, Ian, until later. Wow, we have James Bond and the villain from Tomorrow Never Dies here.
But he's
the one thing that Jonathan Pryce has got in common with Dua Lipa is that they have both sported Dalek bumps.
That's
over the years.
Dan, etheric beam locators. Come on.
Jonathan Pryce semi-officially in The Curse of Fatal Death all the way back in 1999 opposite Rowan Atkinson's sort of doctor, and Julia Sawala there as his lovely assistant Taita, whatever that was, in that charity episode, which has kind of grown on me, but I still don't really like.
He's in what you call it, Slow Horses as well. As I said, they're using a lot of British actors, especially established actors in Netflix stuff. Actually, Slow Horses is on Apple, isn't it? Apple TV, yeah.
Oh, the one with Gary Oldman.
Yes. Yeah. It's 5th season now. It's been quite a success. So it's the 5th season. I only saw the first season when I was on the plane, and I loved it. So I'm probably going to seek out season 2 and 3.
I mean, Dan, you look at the cast list, all the cast that we've been mentioned, not only the main cast but the supporting cast, and this is like an A-level production. I remember when I finished this, I thought I would have gone to the theater to see this. I would have happily paid money to go see this in the theater.
Nah, you wouldn't.
I would. A limited theatrical run.
Yep.
As I understand it. I'm not quite sure where. I know Keith saw it at the BFI, didn't he? Keith Isles from Home Media Minefield, everybody, a friend of the channel.
Yeah, he said it was good. But you wouldn't have went to the cinema to see it.
I absolutely would. Like I said, this type
probably
of
wouldn't have created any buzz.
This type of stuff is my bread and butter. I love this I love this type of murder mystery. Absolutely.
All right.
Do you know what I really loved about the plot with the husband? Like that was such
spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil it. Like you sort of had like the hijinks and the sort of, like I said, this sort of British campness and the funness with the Thursday Murder Club stuff. And then it sort of just got lovely and grounded a bit, and it sort of became a bit more, no, this is a bit more realistic, his story, because of the memory.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't overplay it. I think it's such it's such a hard topic to sort of have dementia and have Alzheimer's and have a character have that, and have it not either feel like you're over sort of playing it to be like feel sympathetic, feel sorry for him, or to sort of not give it its respect. And I felt like this really did a good job of, like you said, it shows he's still very intelligent, he still loves his wife, but he has little slips, and it's very deftly done when it's brought up. Right. So
who wrote this?
That was a real highlight for me, his stuff.
Katie Brand has adapted it from Richard Osman's original book.
The guy with the beard, with the glasses and the beard. Is that the guy who wrote it?
Yes.
No Dalek bumps officially. Maybe they saved that up for the sequel. There was more representation from the Curse of Fatal Death, but there's representation from a number of things there in the presence of this guy, Richard E. Grant, who's been... So Richard E. Grant's played 2 doctors, both of them unofficial. So he was one of the Fatal Death doctors. He's also the Schalke doctor, who, now it's another story altogether that Russell T Davies seems to have brought into the official canon. But after his appearance last year, wasn't it, in Rogue? So there's those 2 doctors, but he also demonstrated a great intelligence all the way back in, when was that, 2014, 2015? 2015, I think, when he was the Snowman.
Yes.
Is it 2012?
2011?
Yeah, because it was Matt's run. So yeah, it would be 2015.
Couple of episodes as the Great Intelligence's sort of human avatar, wasn't it, for Richard E. Grant? And even though I thought he was terrible in The Scream of the Shark, I'll have to go back to it. I thought he was quite fun in Fatal Death, and to be honest, I think he's quite a fun actor, and I was very pleased to see him turn up in an undisclosed role. Don't think we should go into in too much detail. But it's a very Richard E. Granty part, isn't it, Sarah? You know, he's larger than life in the way that Tom Baker.
I love Richard E. Grant. I've been in love with him since he did the Scarlet Pimpernel. He's
Sunday nights,
everything. And all them films, like Jack and Sarah, all them kind of things.
Oh yeah, I remember that film. I kind of liked that film.
So I just have a big smile every time I see him in full.
Any other British actors in this thing? It
Well,
seems like they dragged everybody out.
They're all in it. They're all in it, Ian.
Just really quick, he comes into it kind of later on in the film, and when I saw him after everybody we've been talking about, I actually started laughing out loud and thinking, how many Doctor Who connections are there going to be in this movie?
Again, it's a supporting role, but you know about it when he turns up. It's just oozes gravitas, as always.
He can't not bring those things, can he? Because he is a larger-than-life actor. He's not a naturalistic actor in any way, and sometimes that works better than others. But I do feel that it works very much in the Thursday Murder Club, and I loved it when he turned up. And it's always a good sign that you're going to have a giggle, I think, when Richard E. Grant turns up, because he's another actor who doesn't take himself particularly seriously either, but plays this part. He plays this part straight as well, despite the tattoos and the accent and all that kind of thing. Again, it could have gone so wrong, but it all ends up being so right.
And that's a character, again, I haven't read the succeeding books, but I mean, I could easily see them bringing that character back as like an info source or something like that, or for like 1 or 2 scenes.
But the connections between Richard E. Grant and Doctor Who, I mean, is he going to clock up any more? That's what I do wonder. Do we take any of these remotely seriously? But yeah, do we take any of it seriously? I suppose you can take it as seriously as you like. Some people take it ridiculously seriously. I think we've all got our lines in the sand when it comes to canon. I don't imagine Russell T Davies will ever revisit the idea of the Schalke Doctor, although Richard E. Grant did go in for an afternoon of recording, believe it or not. That wasn't from another film. And that wasn't still imagery. They recorded footage of Richard E. Grant as the Doctor to use in the episode Rogue last year. So who knows? Maybe in time. You never know. Get him to take over, couldn't we? We could get him to take over. I was, in the spirit of spotting Doctor Who actors, all over the place all the time. In that, it's almost like a spectator sport, I think, for Doctor Who fans, and we do that when we watch television with our loved ones, with our friends and family. You know, when there's something on that's kind of family orientated, something very mundane, and there's a room full of people watching it over Christmas or something like that, or a bank holiday, and you kind of lean forward in your chair and you think, and you go, and then you go to half point, and then somebody says, "What's the matter? What's the matter, love?" Or "What's the matter, Chuck? What's the matter, Bab?" And you say, "They were in Doctor Who," and then the expression on the other party's face is always,
I roll.
"What the?
Yeah.
Go away!"
In my husband's case, he just goes.
The other day, Sarah and I were PMing about like British TV comedies because I'm watching a lot of British TV comedy now. And Sarah was like, "Have you ever watched like The Vicar of Dibley? You should try that. It's really good." And I hadn't. I said, "Okay, well, I'll give it a try." So I randomly go onto YouTube and absolutely randomly just grab a Vicar of Dibley clip. There's Peter Capaldi. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding.
I can't just go. There'll be somebody you know in like nearly every episode.
At one point, I think the BBC like had every well-known British actor be in some TV show in their career, like whether it was in their 20s or when they were older. You spot them all the time.
Yep,
but it was like that for me watching this. Obviously, I knew about certain people. David Tennant was very highly publicised in this, but then again, he wasn't on the poster. And here he was playing a kind of very greasy character, I suppose. So he's got two characters he plays now. There's either the striding hero doctor type, or there's the bit of a scumbag kind of guy, and that's very much the bracket that this one falls into. But when I was watching this scene, this is the one where I felt like a proper smart ass.
I know what you're going to say.
Can I say something? The guy in the front, the black guy in the front, he's my neighbor, and he's an extra in EastEnders. He's always in EastEnders in the background.
So this is the guy on the right holding the cane.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
wow. In the waistcoat.
Yeah. Yes.
No, the guy on the front row. You mean the guy on the front row?
Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah. The black guy in the front row with the blue shirt.
So he does a lot of extra work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. If you look at EastEnders, he's always in it in the stalls. He's always walking around and stuff. And he only lives 5 doors away from me. So, so there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, in this, he gets short shift from David Tennant. There he goes at him. So he's still buttoning his jacket the way that he would as the Doctor. But I think you probably saw what I saw out there in the crowd there. So it's this guy that I was looking at. I felt very pleased with myself for recognizing him instantly. So this, when he comes up to give his speech, this is Father Mackey, as played by Joseph Marcel. International audiences know him from a very popular American show from the 90s, but to me, he's John, the bloke in the calf, in remembrance.
He's the one that puts the sugar in his tea. Want the sugar in my tea?
Wow.
One of the best scenes in a Doctor episode.
And he's still, there's more white on the top and underneath, but he's still the same bloke.
Oh my god.
He was the butler.
He'll always be Jeffrey to me, though.
Jeffrey,
So,
who was Jeffrey? Who was Jeffrey? What's this?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was the butler, wasn't he?
The butler,
He was quite funny.
Is that a show that you watched a lot, Sarah?
I did, yes. I grew up watching that. He had some of the best lines, didn't he?
He did.
Very
he did.
Funny.
Yeah.
I've never seen a single. I've never seen a single episode of this, but people always tell me about it. When I talk about that scene in Doctor Who, people tend to chip in with this. But I felt very smug. Even though it was just me watching it, I watched this alone. I felt very smug when I recognised him in this. So that was taking you a bit by surprise there, Gary.
Wow. This is great. I mean, that was totally just passed me by.
I'm glad that a lot of British people are getting work. I mean, it was quite dry at one point, but I guess because of the fall of Hollywood, they all seem to be coming over here now to make their stuff, including Netflix. So there you go. I'm glad. I ain't seen him on TV in, I don't know, over 10 years.
But Netflix has a studio in the UK.
I know,
right?
yeah.
Ian,
I know,
said?
yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what you said, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Interesting.
There's more. There's more.
There's more. There's another Doctor Who person.
There's another Doctor.
Oh, is there?
Sorry, Charlotte, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, you're right, Tent sort of has those two roles, but I feel like it's been a while since he's played a bit of a dodgy bloke, and it's been a while since he hasn't been a good character. And it was... He didn't do amazing acting in this by any stretch.
No.
It wasn't like it was a heavy role for him. But
I'd even say, Charlotte, he almost phoned it in.
Oh, yeah, he did. But it was a bit of fun, and I say that as in just a bit of a fun thing just to go, oh, he's playing a bit of a tool again. He's playing a bit of a bad one, because he's all right at that role. And it was, like I said, he was very much... I thought he'd have more to do in this. I thought they'd sort of done some of the interviews, so it was, like I said, it was a nice little bit part for him to have.
Again, maybe it's a character that could grow, but there are other characters. There's other corners of this film to watch as well. Now, as you would expect in any kind of whodunit, there are libraries. There's kind of village greens, aren't there? There's police cars and sirens and things like that. Dark graveyards and funerals too. I won't let on whose funeral we're at here. That really would spoil something. But there are several funerals and gatherings in this. There we can see the bloke from Remembrance of the Daleks again as the vicar, and everybody was gathered here in remembrance. Boom, boom, and including Daniel Mays and Naomi Aki there. So I noticed, I clocked them, but my eye was also drawn to the other direction, to this guy, because I knew him from somewhere. And it turns out he's somebody that I'm going to be referring to from this moment on as the Proton Doctor, because this is David Burton, who was once billed as the new Doctor Who back in 1991. Now, this story gained so much traction at a very lean time for Doctor Who news, it must be admitted. For a very lean time when it came to any news of continuation of the show. This story made it to the pages of Doctor Who magazine when this actor, a mysterious actor called David Burton, was driving around in a brand new Proton billed as David Burton, the new Doctor Who. And he's there dressed up. It's a kind of doctorish thing to wear, isn't it? And he started appearing sort of opening fates and things like that and being snapped with members of the public. This guy really lent into this. And took years. I mean, a lot of us wondered what the hell was going on here, because obviously there was no internet. There was no way we could find out more. We were just left with that column in Doctor Who magazine to work with, and this visage of this guy with his car as the new Doctor Who. And here he is. There's David Burton himself in this film. They're at a funeral. So it took years until we got to the bottom of this one, Sarah. James Goss, the writer, and a lot of other researchers on, I think they were working on DVD special features at the time. They worked out that David Burton wasn't the new Doctor Who. But it was a cold, hard promotional stunt simply to promote the car. But we all kind of fell for it anyway. But David Burton is the Proton Doctor. He absolutely counts as another Doctor in this film.
I'm Richard Osmond and the entire I'm convinced they are hardcore Doctor fans. Who would know that?
It gotta be.
Can we call that phone number right now and see who picks up?
Get him on the blower. Yeah, they'll probably turn up in his car. He's still got it.
To me, this doesn't look real. This looks like a sketch show, like like the Fast Show, and they used to do like a American car salesman. That's what it looks like.
Does anybody else remember this story from back in the 90s, Gary?
I know this is the first I've heard of it.
Do you know what, right? Didn't he not get sued by the BBC? I don't understand how it worked in those days. How was he allowed to get away with this? That's the question, right?
I don't know. If he did.
Unless he was in cahoots with the BBC.
Unless, Ian, this is just a wild guess, that because there's nothing on the car that actually directly associates it with like a TARDIS, or is there like a picture of a TARDIS, or
no? It just says new Doctor Who
logo,
doesn't it?
Yeah, just the words Doctor Who. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get you, but it's like if it would have had like, you know, the logo done, if it had like the diamond logo, for example, or something, then yeah, the lawyers would be on the phone. But,
I need to know now, did Proton sales go up in the 90s?
Probably.
Did anybody
have
buy
now.
it? Let me know in the chat if you bought one. This is the kind of stuff I
I'm
need
starting
know.
to wonder now whether the auditions for this production, the first question they asked was, have you been or know anybody who's been associated with Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
And if the answer was no, it's like, thanks for your interest.
Do you think
know,
they
there's
did it
support.
deliberately, though, Dan? Do you think the guy who wrote this, and cast this, did it deliberately? Because it's a bit of a stretch, really. Because let's face it, I mean, those actors are available. You know what I mean? They might have done it deliberately. I don't know.
I'd say it's likely, but then again, who hasn't been in Doctor Who? You know, I mean, I think that they probably cast David Tennant. This was filmed around a year ago, something like that. It's been quite a fast turnaround on it, but they've been trying to sell it as a movie for a while, and there were various directors attached, a couple of different studios before Netflix sort of closed on it. But then it went into production quite quickly at Pinewood, and I would imagine that they looked at who are the bankable British actors, and until very, very recently, David Tennant, he'd been in plenty of bad things, but he hadn't actually had any failures. And so I think that's probably why they would have gone for him. It is quite a big part that he's got in this. And whilst the 60th anniversary didn't deliver by any real measure, his reappearance as Doctor Who did momentarily get a lot of attention. It did, and it even brought viewers back to the show, which would, you know, it's only 18, when was it? Yeah, 18 months ago, coming up to 2 years ago, which does kind of indicate that there's some truth. There's some truth in that. And when these books are proven sellers, you know, there's 4 of these out already by Richard Osman in this particular series. And a 5th one, I think, is due any day now. They're coming sort of thick and fast. I would imagine it's a similar mindset to those Poirot movies that I mentioned earlier on, Gary, or some of the other kind of the bigger, like the Harry Potter thing. You know, they did it 25 years ago. They're doing it now. They're staffing that new Harry Potter TV show with a lot of great British character actors. Well, global character actors now, but there are plenty of British names like Catherine Parkinson's in it, for example, Nick Frost's in it. So there's people who you kind of would expect to see in a Harry Potter project. And I think that this sort of kind of follows in line with that in some way, in its inherent Britishness. That could be part of it.
I mean, I really hope they capitalize on this quickly. They don't drag their feet, you know, in green lighting the next one. Maybe they should do like the next maybe couple at the same time, you know, like one right after the other, but do not wait X number of years to decide. Netflix, please just go ahead and start.
It's going to be hard though. It's going to be hard with those 3 stars.
That's what I'm saying. Do it now.
Unless they've locked them into a contract for 2 more. But if they haven't, then I would expect one of them would be missing in the next one.
Well, to be fair, they could. It's become normal for now to film stuff in sort of these. If you've got enough material, you film 1 and 2 together, or 3 and 4. Like obviously, Lord of the Rings famously did that, and then I think it went out of fashion, and now it's come back into fashion again.
But
so.
I don't think this is the thing that happened on this one, not as far as I've read anyway. But as I said, if they haven't locked them in, maybe they've got a contract for 3 or 2. That would be good. But if they don't have a contract for 3, then the price goes up for them, don't they? The agent goes, well, they're in the first one. You'd expect double payment. Do you know what I mean?
They
that
may have
kind of thing.
signed some sort of deal with Netflix here for 3 or 4
I
of
hope
these.
so.
Pierce Brosnan is talking about doing more, very actively talking about doing more. He's clearly very keen. It's a great part, and the film's been very successful in the week or so that it's been out. I mean, I think this is terrific fun. Some of it is contrived, there's no doubt about it. There are cliches, but I feel they're offered with a wink, and the rest of it is so brilliantly done, sensitively written, and beautifully acted. It's impossible, really, to hit play on this and not get swept along in it if you're of the right frame of mind. You know, if it's particularly on a rainy afternoon, I think, Charlotte, it's great cross-generational viewing, despite a couple of 4-letter words, which... mind you, all the kids know them anyway, don't they? What am I talking about?
True.
But apart from the 4-letter words, you could put this in front of pretty much anybody from the age of, say, 8 or 9 up. I mean, what's your review of this, Charlotte? Is the first kind of thing we've looked at that's outside of the traditional Whoniverse?
Yeah, like I hadn't read the books, I knew about them, and I'm like, Gary, I'm going to definitely get the books now. And I was surprised because I was, in my head, I was like, the acting's probably going to be absolutely amazing with that cast. I was like, that's safe. But even then, I've forgotten how good some of these actors were because I hadn't seen them in anything for a while. And so I was like, oh, Helen Mirren, like you said, she can really be steely, then soft, then the leader when she was, but then let the others shine as well. It was the writing, actually. Like I said, that was the thing I wasn't sure how they were going to write this. But it was really funny. I found myself sort of laughing along, and I haven't done that for a while with something, which was nice. But then it was the connections. We've all said this little group, they feel like really good friends.
Yes.
They feel like they've got this history.
Because they're good actors.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's that combination of really good acting and the script working together, which is nice to see in a project. And I'm sort of like, Gary, I would be very surprised if they haven't already had talks about doing more with these actors, and it will just be scheduling now and who they can get. And like the other thing is, because this is done really well, if you think there's a cast now in this first one, you wait to see who they'll probably get for the next one. It's probably going to be even more big names. I won't be
Peter
more
surprised.
Doctor Who actor. Do you think
Get
there'll be
Peter
more Doctor Who?
Davison.
Do you think there'll be more Do you think there'll be more Doctor Who actors in the sequel?
Oh, I can see Capaldi in this.
Capaldi, Peter Davison.
Yeah.
I can see Capaldi being one of the residents we haven't met yet, and he just appears like, "Hello, I'm." Oh, that'd be fun. I can so picture it.
But then again, that's the problem, isn't it? There's an abundance of them. When virtually everybody, Gary, has been in Doctor Who, it's almost impossible not to cast Doctor Who actors, certainly to the quota that we've been talking about. David Burton will be in the next one, I can guarantee it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like Charlotte said, they're all capable actors. You don't even need to question whether, well, that's kind of a questionable bit of casting. No, these people have, solid CVs as long as your arm. And the one thing I love about these characters is not that they're all just hanging out together because they happen to be kind of stuck at the same place to live. You can tell that all of these characters have a respect for each other's abilities, like what they, of each of the characters. It's not just, oh, well, they're my friend here in this kind of, senior center. It's just really like you, Dan. I mean, I reacted the same way. It's just so well done.
Really, really lovely. What's your take, Sarah? Have you seen it? You have?
I've seen it, yeah. I saw it last night. I know I was going to enjoy it because I enjoy these kind of, crime whodunits like you and Gary. I don't think I expected to enjoy it as much as I did. Now, whether that is because of the Doctor Who references and just going, oh, it's them. And obviously my fondness for some of the actors. But again, like Charlotte, I was sat there with a big smile on my face. I don't even think it was particularly contrived. Like, there's certain there's certain whodunit tropes, I suppose. But what really got to me was
there was one, for example, Sarah, where I groaned, but I only groaned after they revealed the significance of it. I didn't groan at the time. It's one of those things. I think, well, I was swept along in it, so therefore, does it matter that it was contrived? In that moment, I was having so much fun, I didn't notice. Then it depends how cynical a viewer you are of things. I tend to not play. I don't watch something, or try not to watch something, if I'm feeling a certain sort of build-up of reactance towards it. I think if it's like going to a party when you don't really want to be there, I try not to do that for everybody else's sake and my own. And I feel that these sorts of TV shows, movies, it's a similar kind of thing.
I agree. I think you've got to be in the right mood for it. I think it's definitely that kind of Sunday tea time kind of thing. It is. It's very gentle, very British. The British comedy, like Charlotte was saying, is spot on. There was a brilliant line. I think it was Jonathan Pryce when Helen Mirren's getting ready to go out incognito, and he just looks at her and goes, "What are you wearing?"
No, and then the next line, "You look like the Queen," which
Yeah,
I think
and I
was
was
a
like-
nod very deliberately.
Yeah, I was like, I see what you did there. It was very well done. But yeah, it was. But again, they take it seriously, and I love the Britishness of it. I mean, that photo that you showed of them just all sat together on the table is obviously there's a cup of tea. There's a tin of Danish cookies. And I know that's not really a big thing, but my nan always had a tin of those Danish cookies in her house, and we always had to buy some at Christmas. And that is a staple of any retirement home. And it's just little things like that. And the cakes, I kept laughing every time Celia Imrie turned up with a cake, because I know people like that, the feeders. Just right. Yeah, it's. I don't think you can go wrong. I think you'll have a brilliant time watching this, and I can't wait for the next ones. I really can't. And like Gary, I'm going to get the books as well.
Ian, I gather you've not seen it, so given the fact that we've talked it up, is this the kind of thing that you would usually watch, or because we've all enjoyed it, do you think you might go and look at it, or were you going to look at it anyway because Keith had said how good it was?
Yeah, he said. I mean, it's not the kind of thing I'd watch really, but since you guys have said it's good, I'll give it a watch. But it does seem like, I mean, the stuff that Netflix is kicking out now. Obviously, I heard that Netflix is on a mission to destroy YouTube, so they're pulling out all the stops, aren't they? Because YouTube is their biggest rival.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. So Netflix teamed up with channel in France. So basically, Netflix is linked with a big channel in France, and they're going to each country now, being linked to one of the major networks. So that's one of the things that they're trying to do to beat YouTube, because now people watch YouTube on their TVs rather than on their computers. So now YouTube's getting big. Really rivals Netflix. So yeah. So there you go. But I will watch it. I will watch it because you guys says it's good, so I'll watch it.
If Netflix are watching, obviously they can reach out to us. Instagram and X at Type40 Doctor Who.
We're all available.
See what we can sort out, can't we? The Thursday Murder Club currently streaming on Netflix. Let us know what you think of it, and if you've enjoyed hearing us talk about it. Do you want more Who adjacent coverage of material outside of the Whoniverse here on Type 40 Live, and more spotting of people from Doctor Who wherever else they may turn up? I think we should go and have a peek at the live chat and check out the comments and reviews from other people who've been commenting along on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook and X. See what they've got to say about all of this, and we'll try and screen it so there are no spoilers, obviously, Ian. So yeah, let's go and see what they've got to say.
So you went into a phone box with a mobile phone? They phoned it was raining. It was pouring rain, that's why. So we went into a phone box and you had a mobile.
To cry in private.
I was hoping it was a TARDIS. Swat.
Fun and games here on the 250th edition of Type 40 Live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us over there on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. As always, let's see what everybody else has got to say about the streaming movie, the Thursday Murder Club we've been talking about here. Richard Brooks is in first. I don't have any streaming subscriptions, says Richard. Well, no, people pick and choose which ones that they go for, don't they? Danish cookies that have never been to Denmark. He chips in with those. So.
Is that true, Richard? Don't tell me that.
Break it to her gently, Richard. Break it to her gently. My nan had diluted orange every time I went round. I still have the glass I drank from. It's the little things, those little things that matter so much.
They do feed, yeah.
I've got various things from my grandparents' place as well, things that are really small and personal. Some of them are proper riffy, but I'd never throw them out. I did throw out the biscuits that they had in the cupboard. The sell-by date now would definitely be, very potent.
Custard creams, I remember visiting my nan. It was always custard creams and orange juice that she used to give us. So yeah.
With me,
Danish
with the
cookies are
milk
almost as
she had.
Danish cookies are almost as bad as pink wafers. Says
Pink
Matthew.
wafers are great.
Matthew,
Gary.
we're going to
I
fall out, mate.
I agree with Gary. I'm very much in the pink wafer club, which I am aware that sounds rude.
Maybe
do you
that could be
know
the
what,
name.
right?
That could be the name of our Netflix show,
Yeah.
the Pink Wafer Club.
Do you know what, right? Do you remember those big tin of biscuits you used to get for Christmas? And when you opened it, right, it only had like 2 pink wafers compared to all the other biscuits. I was wondering why they only had like very limited pink wafers. Can anybody tell me that? Everything else was like doubled or tripled, but yet the pink wafers, there were only 2.
Supply and demand, mate.
Maybe,
Supply and demand.
maybe your guys are too young to remember those.
No, I
tins of
remember him, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a review in from Domgo. Surprise, surprise, Domgo didn't enjoy it. I must have watched another film. You're a happy camper, right, Domgo?
It's
I must
okay,
have watched
Domgo.
another film. I must have watched another film. It was a
Much-
5 out of 10 max.
Much higher
Nobody
than
is
five.
nobody is claiming that this film is revolutionary in any way, or it's going to be film of the year. It is what it is. But we had a good time with it. It's a pity that you didn't. You need to eat, but he does add that you do need to eat drink. You need to eat tea and crumpets, drink tea and eat crumpets while you watch that film. So it's a good recommendation there. So it's not all bad news from Domgo there watching on YouTube. Stephen Braddock says it sounds so British. I'll be watching this tomorrow afternoon. Exactly, it's very, very British. Exactly why we've put the bunting up. There we are. We've got Rob. Go on, Sarah.
It's true. When you see something that is so unapologetically British, God, that was difficult to say. You realise how far Doctor was kind of strayed into like just being like generalised
Rubbish.
No, but it could be any. With the Disney Plus one, it feels like it could have been shot anywhere. Not in Britain, where I think back to, the sites, so not even just London, but just, the bright red post boxes and the phone boxes. I think back at, the Matt Smith here at Ledworth and the villagers and, the bicycles and the ice cream vans are like, it's all kind of just eroded away.
It's like in the 50th, they have the cup of tea at the end, don't they? That's very British. Have the cup of tea in the cups, in the proper teacups, don't they? So
there were markers. There were markers of modernity in this, such as mobile phones and things like that. But generally speaking, it did feel like it existed in a kind of a perhaps land almost. Stephen O'Neill says, "I never heard of David Byrne." I'm going to read up on him now. He sounds like a Walter Mitty type of character. He's just a jobbing actor who was paid to do a quick job. There by whoever that was, so he did it. He picked up the money and went off and hopefully bought himself something nice. So can't knock him for that. Can't knock him for that. People are speculating about who could be in the next one, and maybe Paul McGann could turn up. Or Shooty Gatwa could turn up.
Nah, we don't want Shooty.
You never know. Get Colin Baker in, says Richard Brooks. Yeah, Colin would be fantastic in something like this, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he was in the first Jonathan Creek. Get him in this.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that as well. Big fan of Jonathan Creek.
Did anyone famous get killed in this?
We're not going to tell you. Spoil it. We've gone to great lengths to not spoil this for you. Funky says sometimes we need a bit of good old-fashioned cozy mystery stories. There's an abundance of them at the moment, isn't there, Sarah? They're everywhere. Let's hope that Pierce Brosnan doesn't sing in any follow-ups. Well, if he was singing as this character, it would be slightly out of character. It'd be rather strange.
Yeah.
Don't forget those wonderful actors who stood in for the classic Doctors. They are remembered, says Peter Harrington. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but yes, why not? It's the 250th show. Why not? Larders were awful cars, says Richard Brooks. You're probably right. You're probably right. and various other. Have we got any comments that are on topic? Has anybody else actually seen this film?
This is our chat, remember?
The nation, the world is talking about this film. It's huge in the news cycle at the moment, and yet nobody else seems to have seen it. But people seem happy that we have reviewed it. Billy Piper needs a car like that, says the new Doctor Who.
Yeah.
What kind of car do you think Billy Piper drives? Bedford Rascal?
No idea.
Convertible.
Probably some god awful hybrid thing. Electric car.
Yeah. I suspect that she doesn't drive. She's got a driver, and she probably doesn't do stairs either. But obviously, we don't.
But
know
like a
this for certain.
Dalek doesn't do stairs.
She's always in heels. Yeah. What else? People asking about other people that I've got no idea what they're talking about. We should be watching a Doctor Who we should be watching a Doctor Who special this Christmas. Thank goodness. We would be watching a Doctor Who special this Christmas, adds Stephen O'Neill. Stephen, I don't know what you're talking about, but there's no Christmas special this year, as I'm sure you're aware. Jeffrey the Butler says Luke Walters watching over on YouTube, out for the night at the theatre, but he's dived in there with a comment. Thank you, Luke. I'll be having a fantastic night. Looking forward to catching up soon. And people talking about the old Hound of the Baskervilles, the old BBC one. So many different versions.
Is that the one with Tom Baker?
Tom Baker. Richard E. Was it Richard E. Grant or Richard Roxburgh who did that for the BBC? They did a couple of Sherlock Holmes around the time that they did the Scarlet Pimpernel, I think, and I can't remember. Yeah, who played it? I think that's what he could be referring to. I don't know. We'll have to send the detective, the Thursday Murder Club, to investigate some of these comments, I think. Richard E. Grant co-starred with Paul McGann, along with potential Dr. Richard Griffiths in the movie With Nail and I, which I can't bloody stand, but everybody else reminds. It's up there with the Rocky Horror Picture Show in my list of hated films. I didn't tell Paul McGann that. Says Ezra Goldstein. Lots of people loved that movie With Nail and I. Richard Griffiths would have been a terrific Doctor. I completely agree. And Nicholas Horton says he was in The Little Vampire. I think he's talking about the guy from Fresh Prince again. I haven't seen The Little Vampire either, Charlotte. No.
I think I watched it when I was a kid.
A long time ago.
I do have to go. So it's been lovely to celebrate and to be with Ian as well. We've not seen for a while, and now a lovely chat. So
always lovely.
Happy 250th. Happy 250th again, Charlotte. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you next week for 251.
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with next week. You never know.
Yeah. See you, Charlotte.
No.
Take care.
No. This is the 250th Type 40 Live. We have several more comments here in the live chat. Stephen says, he's clarifying here, I meant we have been spared a Doctor Who Christmas special this year. Thank goodness. I think we all need a bit of a breather. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, but it's true. We do. I'm dying to see the one with Tom Baker. This is the Hound of the Baskervilles that Peter Venkman fansite is talking about. I think he had that Holmes vibe. Tom Baker is dismissive of his turn as Holmes. He always wanted to play Holmes, and then when he did it, he felt, I don't know how he feels about it now, but in a lot of interviews, he always felt that he loused it up. I always thought it was. I watched it when I was a kid. It was on TV. It was the Sunday tea time serial, and I thought he was quite good. But they didn't make any more. So evidently, more people agreed with Tom than agreed with me. Sharon Joy Reeds is in the live chat there on YouTube and says, "Yes, been subbed since my husband died. He was an avid watcher for years. Of us or of who of." Must be. Thank you for joining us, Netflix, Sharon.
Maybe.
Oh, thank you, Sharon.
Sure.
And she must be talking about Netflix. It says good evening. And lots of Funky hasn't seen the Tom Baker Sherlock Holmes either. I couldn't possibly. I couldn't possibly suggest as to where you may find that.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Something like that might
It's
even
not-
be on
YouTube.
YouTube. It's so old. Yeah.
Probably on
It's not-
YouTube. Yeah.
It's not that far away, but yeah, I couldn't possibly recommend anything of that nature. It's tricky to get on DVD. There is an international release. It did come out to buy in Australia and I believe in North America as well. Whether it's still available or not, I couldn't possibly say. But yeah, detective stuff isn't generally speaking my bag. I must admit, because a lot of the stories I tend to feel like I've always seen them before, and even though I'm not the kind of bloke who watches a detective film or TV show and tries to work out who's done it, I find that if I know who's done it or work out where it's going, then I know that it can't be very good, because that's not, generally speaking, the kind of entertainment I watch. That didn't happen with me in this. I was enjoying the entire concoction so much that I was swept along in it. And so I think that it's more than a murder mystery film, this. I think that these, if they're able to carry on and make more, fingers crossed they will, it certainly looks like they will, then this could be something that, they drop on bank holidays and Christmas holidays and things like that, Ian. And more things to bring the family together is never going to be a bad thing. And you know what things like this are like? When they build up an audience, then they only get bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's more anticipation. Death in Paradise has definitely benefited from that kind of burn, hasn't it, Gary? It's always there. People always expect a new series of it come January, and people look forward to it as a family. And even if they don't live in the same house, they call one another up and talk about it. Did you see it last night? Oh, that kind of thing. And yet, the stories to those are, they're never going to change the world either. It is what it is. But I've really enjoyed the film, and I've loved talking about it with all of you. So
do you remember that show, Dan, Who Done It, that was hosted by John Pertwee? Maybe you're too young.
It's slightly before my time, but I have seen some of them since, and I'd love to get the box set. I did see Cluedo on ITV in the 90s. That was hosted by Richard. It was Richard Madeley hosted that, and the cast rotated, didn't it? Tom Baker was in a couple of series. So was Lewis Collins, Elizabeth Anthony, some great British character, and it was very much the same show, wasn't it?
Yes, more or less. Yeah.
Jerry Hall was Miss Scarlet, and everybody fancied her. I remember that.
I thought you were going to say Jerry Halliwell for a minute. I definitely fancied her.
Which show was that?
It's called. There was a show called Who Done It, which was in the 70s, I believe, and it was hosted by John Pertwee. And basically, what it is they have a panel and they do this play, and somebody gets murdered, and the panel has to work out who the murderer is. That's basically the whole point.
But I mean, is that the one that you were just talking about where that had the Miss Scarlet character? The whodunit thing actually, I actually just coincidentally subscribed to the YouTube channel. Somebody on YouTube has gradually been putting every single episode of that whodunit with John Pertwee out. So they're out there. It's not the same as getting like a box set, obviously. But just if you want to watch it, it's there.
I love detective shows.
The one I was talking about, Gary, that was Cluedo, based on the game.
Yes.
Clue.
Yes.
They did a TV series of it. Was it the 90s?
I'll have to track that down.
That, for all I know, that could be on YouTube as well.
Cluedo,
mostly the same show, really the same general premise. If you can tolerate Richard Madeley, disliking with Nail and I. And detective shows, heresy. I don't dislike detective shows. It's just that it's like hospital dramas, like Casualty and things like that. They tend to be the things that I go to the least, because they haven't got any fantastical elements.
I'm with you, Dan. I don't like with Nail and I never liked that film. I saw it once in the cinema, and I got bored very fast, and I didn't really like it. And I watched it again on DVD, and I still didn't like it. But if people like it, they like it, right?
I like it. I think it's overrated, I think.
It's a film for people to get pissed watching. That's all it really exists for. And that's no slight on any of the performances in it, but that's the novelty of it. It's like those Cheech and Chong movies, or I suppose you could say Bill and Ted kind of fall. There's like stoner movies and things like that. It's for me, it's no better or no worse than that. And so I do feel that when people sort of lift it up to be something almost like visual literature. I think that's a bit fucking much. You know, it's full of grotesques. I understand why people like it. It just doesn't appeal to me at all.
You don't want the steel book for Christmas then.
But well, I don't know. I think Gary agrees with me. The greatest detective show on TV of all time is Columbo. What can I say?
Columbo.
Oh. See, I love Columbo.
Followed closely by another of Ian's favorites.
Oh yes, Psych. Brilliant. Yeah.
I do love Columbo, but I view that differently because it's not a whodunit. It's a why done it, and will they get caught? It's that kind of thing. You've lots of people talking about whodunit in the live chat. It was available on DVD from Network before Network went under. Old Gold gradually releasing Network's back catalogue, so hopefully that'll turn up at some point in the future. And Wendy, hello Wendy, from the Department of Wendology, of course, in the live chat. She's loves the Columbo, does Wendy. Great to see you. Darren was in earlier on. Holmes is a similar character to the Doctor, says Matthew Pounder. So is Columbo to some extent, particularly if you're looking at the.
It's amazing how many different types of Sherlock Holmes things there are around the world, isn't there? They had the American version, they had the British version, they had the one, and even House was definitely Sherlock Holmes, wasn't it? So it's incredible. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for all these fabulous comments. Lovely to see you all. It's been too long, says Wendy. Well, don't be a stranger. Make sure you're back here soon. Don't just send the old man. And congratulations to Darren. Congratulations to Darren on the publication of his new sci-fi book as well. Love to find out more about that, Darren. So we'll be sure to give you some shares there on the socials. But congratulations to Darren Apken on the publication of his latest book. Brilliant news. Well done. It's great to see you both there.
Maybe Netflix will make it into a movie. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
And if that happens, Darren, insist that all of us get a part.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, Ian can direct it. There you go.
There you go.
He's probably working out right now who David Tennant will play or who Philip Roy could play.
Hello, I'm Philip Roy playing the Doctor in the Doctor Who fan film Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion. I've been on quite an adventure, and this is most definitely the Type 40 podcast.
I must say that looks quite good. I want to see it.
Looks really good. So excited for this.
Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion on the way. Currently in what they call post-production.
Yeah, here's hoping the BBC don't strike him down. Fingers crossed.
All our best to everybody working so hard on Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion. It looks sensational. We have had a preview of a good chunk of the material as well. More coverage from us coming in due course. But again, our gratitude and support as ever to Phil and everybody else working there on Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion, Richard and Mandy, and Lucas and Brian and Leroy, everybody there. We're waiting and we're watching. No pressure.
Do you know what, right? Sorry, I was just about to say, you know what, right? I've seen a lot of fan things of Doctor Who, and I hate to say this, majority of them are not very good, but this one, I've seen a clip from this, and it looks really good. They even have the music tribute to the music in the 70s, so it looks really good. So I can't wait to see it personally. So there you go.
It's got to be good. Got to be good. That's okay. This has been the 250th edition of Type 40 Live. It wouldn't have been a celebration without Ian interrupting me. It's just like old times. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And for the people who couldn't make it out there, much love and much respect.
Have you seen that before, Ian?
No, I've not seen it before. That's fantastic. I was expecting him to play something. He didn't play anything.
I've seen him play Ian. He is very good. He is very good. And unlike Pierce Brosnan, Simon Horton's got a very good voice.
I really like Simon. I miss him actually. He's such a good chap. But hopefully
we'll be sure to come back again sooner rather than later, Ian. We'll blow the cobwebs off your love of Doctor Who however we can here. But yeah, this is us winding it down for another show. Simon Horton will be back very, very soon. Don't you worry about that. He's on the way, although some dates are still available. Anybody who wants to book him and his organ, he's coming back to Type 40 Live before you know it. So make sure you don't miss the return of Simon Horton and all that good stuff. Yes, so what next? You need to come and say hello, just like she did.
They can stuff it,
just
mate.
like
Ian's not coming back now. You've put him on.
Grief.
Yeah, so come and say hello. You can reach out to us through our social media, as always, Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who there, or come and join us in the Type 40 Facebook group as ever. You can drop your review if you like for the Thursday Murder Club. Tell us who you spotted that I didn't. There's bound to be plenty of other people in there in the corners that are connected to Doctor Who in some way, and certainly people off camera who are connected with the show. It's a guarantee. Maybe you worked on it yourself. Let us know. Maybe you're one of the extras like Ian's mate there that he told us about on the front row of the church. If you're there, sir, if you're with us, make yourself known in the Type 40 Facebook group and tell us how it was for you. You can leave us feedback of any kind, questions, reviews, rants, or raves through the palm of your hand, if you like, on your smartphone, through the wonders of SpeakPipe there. Come and drop us a message and be a contributor to the live stream or the podcast or whatever you like there on SpeakPipe. Between us, can we yank Doctor Who out of the mud? Ian, that's what we've been asking ourselves all too regularly here at Type 40 Live, because things have looked better, it has to be said. But on this edition of the show, not only have we done a sterling job in marking our 250th edition, but I feel that we have delivered a superb conversation and had some genuine laughs, just like old times. So, it's been a good one. It's been a good one. So you have been abroad, haven't you? You've been filming. You probably can't tell us what you've been working on, but you've been directing, haven't you? So what was it like? Have you had fun? And what are your priorities now that you're back?
It was a low budget film, and I'm not really allowed to speak about it until it gets released.
Think you would be.
It's nothing. It's just an independent film. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I went to Kansas, I went to Wichita, and it was hot as hell down there. But it was a lot of fun. So that's all I can say about that, really.
You didn't get stuck in the mud?
No. And there were no Doctor Who fans down there at all. So
there you go. Well, the thing is, Doctor Who fans may not be making themselves known as readily as once they did, with the show being in such a shit state at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a film called The Roses, isn't there? And Shooty's in that.
Yeah.
So that's one film I'm going to avoid, put it that way. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, I just hope it comes back and it comes back properly. I just hope it doesn't come back in the same state. Fingers crossed. But there you go.
I think we're all hoping for that, aren't we?
Yeah, but it's BBC's in charge, isn't it? So it doesn't look likely, put it that way. But there's always hope, isn't there? Where there's life, there's hope. Let's put it that way. So there you go.
A lot of hope here in the live chat for Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion. Richard Brooks is really looking forward to that. There's lots of big Columbo fans that we've got here that have turned up too, and some congratulations on our 250th edition from the various folk, the good folk, some of them with wrenches, just like Lord Thoth and Garbage. And I think Wendy's got a wrench as well. Actually, she should have. I thought she had.
Yeah.
But everybody, some people have got literal ones, other people have got sort of honorary ones, and Wendy is absolutely an honorary one. Bring back the quizzes, says Matthew Pound. We've only done one. Bring back the quizzes. We could probably do another one, and we'll bring the quizmaster back maybe one day if we can sort of drag him out of whatever bush he's currently head first in, trying to get his bearings. I wish Simon Horton was back, says T Dwarf Productions. Well, if you close your eyes and wish on the biggest and brightest of stars, it won't be too long until.
Wait a moment. So we're not good
to the
enough
score.
for you? You want Simon back? I mean, what
That's
about
right.
us? What about us?
Well, close your eyes and click your heels together.
Yeah.
Proper doctors, says Richard Brooks. For us, we haven't been anointed
yeah.
yet, but there's still time. There's still time. Thank you, everybody.
Wendy.
So yeah, sweet
night,
dreams,
Wayne.
everyone. Says Gallifrey, Angel, Cheryl. Yeah, good to have you with us, Cheryl. And we've got the Zero Room back in the live chat there as well. So thank you, everybody, for celebrating with us 250 editions of Type 40 Live, albeit a little unconventionally. We really appreciate all the support we get from all of you out there, putting this unofficial live stream magazine show together. Join us again next week. We've got more of the hottest of takes on the Whoniverse on and off screen, all coming your way. Taking your comments as ever, your rants and your raves. All opinions will always be welcome here at Type 40 Live. All that's coming your way, so you've got to make sure you like this video. It does help more than you think. Dislike it if you like. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Check you're still subscribed. We rarely ask people to subscribe, and that's deliberate. We'd rather talk about other things. But sincerely, if you would subscribe, all you lurkers out there, and there are a lot of you, we do know, make this the time for show 250 that you subscribe to us here and hit the cloister bell to get all our notifications about what's coming next. Sarah, good to have you back on. Happy you're feeling better. And I'm glad that you didn't hate the film. I think when I recommend people watch something, say, come watch this and then come and talk to us. It's always a relief that people don't have a shit time.
It is, yeah, it is. No, I loved it. And yeah, I'm very happy to be back. And yeah, hopefully fighting fit from now on. We'll see. We'll see how we go. A lot can happen in the Whoniverse between now and next week, but we'll see.
Gary Akers and that incredible TARDIS hat. Thank you for digging it out in our honor.
Absolutely. It's always, I say this every week, it's such an honor to be, part of the Type 40 family and just and get together with all of you. And it's great. And, I love Sarah, and it's so great to be able to stream again with the man who put good luck everybody into the international lexicon. So, and you know what? I want to challenge somebody. Go
Gary,
back.
Gary, look how pleased with himself he is.
Yeah,
I challenge people by next Thursday. Go back and find the exact stream where that was said for the first time, and I'll send you a prize.
Thank you as ever, Sarah, Gary. Great to have you back, Ian. And where would we be without Charlotte Shields? The rest of the panels as well, not just those who are here present and in the live chat, but those who simply couldn't make it for this one. Everyone who's part of the team, thank you for your involvement. Lots more to come. Type 40 Live continues to evolve and to move on. It's a challenge during the lean time when Doctor Who is not on the telly. We see that as an opportunity, I think. We've been here a long time now through plenty of fair and foul, I suppose. But you can relax, but stick with us. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40 Live. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.